Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday, December 9th, 2025. Here's what's coming up on the Owen Report today. We are going to have to squeeze 6 hours of news content into a 3-hour show today. Do you think we can do it? What do we got for you? We got more from President Trump. First of all, we have a leaked video where President Trump is showing his frustration with this administration, maybe more specifically, actually, with Republicans in Congress. But it all seems to kind of jive. So Trump, behind the scenes, is expressing some frustration, but then puts on a good face for TV. And I have to say, it's really becoming mind-boggling. It's becoming mind-boggling. And there's some other conclusions I think we have to start reaching. Why is Trump showing this frustration with Republicans in Congress? And then the Republicans in Congress that are actually doing the work he wants to get done, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, those are the Republicans he attacks the most. So it's the Republicans like Lindsey Graham and Mike Johnson that stall President Trump's mandates, his agenda. And then it's Marjorie Taylor Greene that supports it, tries to advance it, and he attacks her. We do have more audio from Marjorie Taylor Greene today as well. We got a bunch of news, just some headlines to go through in the geopolitical world dealing with Ukraine. A lot of big news out of Ukraine and Russia. Strikes back and forth, and Zelensky is not going to accept the deal. So now the ball is back in Trump's court to tell Zelensky to get lost? Or how is that going to go? A big announcement out of the Pentagon is not good. They are officially announcing, it is official, this administration is building Skynet, and they're bringing it in now via the Department of War. More AI government surveillance. More AI government warfare. What is Director of the FBI Kash Patel doing in Qatar? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. We got Trump. We got Trump's FBI director in Qatar today, guys. By the way, we covered the Jasmine Crockett situation yesterday, probably better than anybody else in the media. What can I say? But actually, I missed something. I can't believe I missed it yesterday. We'll give you an update on that. An update on the NVIDIA situation with China. Now, I've got, honestly, a huge stack of news out of Israel. And it's a couple different important fronts. Netanyahu has never been more exposed than right now. You've got protests in the streets happening that are getting violent, by the way. This is happening in Israel. You've got protests in the streets. It's the same thing like every other country. And we're seeing it now in Venezuela. We're seeing it now in Israel. There's a left and a right in every country. To put it simply. So they're protesting in the street. They're protesting Netanyahu at the official hearings. So you got some fiery audio from the actual hearings going after Netanyahu with the Knesset. And then you've got the war that's continuing with strikes in 7 different countries. And then you've got the commentary in the West that is even crazier. And it's all to continue the support of these wars. That's what the whole thing is about from the Netanyahu side. So we're going to get into that. We've got some other AI tech news we're going to try to get to if we have the time. It's going to be a loaded day because President Trump is supposed to be speaking here. He's supposed to be doing a speech here soon, so we may just decide to cover that live. All that and more coming up on today's Owen Report.
This news update was brought to you by OwenSchroyer.store, the official site for Owen Report merchandise.
Did you guys see the news today? Did you see the news? It's on Drudge. It's everywhere. Silver is now outpacing gold. I was actually talking to a friend who trades gold, calls himself an international gold trader. He's been talking about how good of a year he's been having just working in gold. And now it's silver outpacing gold in the news today. So you're seeing this. You're probably already having the fear of missing out. We warned you. We told you it's time to go to protectwithowen.com. We've been telling you for months. Get to protectwithowen.com. Get ahead of this rush. Get ahead of it. Seems to be going only one direction here, folks. Protectwithowen.com. So our friends at Allegiance Gold, which is who we have partnered with at protectwithowen.com, our friends at Allegiance Gold, they want to ask you, are you the type who waits to be rescued or the one who protects your family before the storm hits? You're already seeing the cracks. The dollar buys less every month. Banks are showing stress. In this market, it's being propped up with printed money. It's not if it breaks, it's how prepared you'll be when it does. Here's what they don't want you to notice. When the system starts cracking, the insiders, they quietly move first. They're moving into gold right now. We're watching it, folks. So that's why we've partnered with Allegiance Gold. When paper markets burn or the market falls, gold and silver don't. They're yours, not the government's, not the banks, not Wall Street's, yours. Allegiance Gold has been around for nearly a decade and is trusted by over 7,000 clients nationwide. Relationship-driven, A+ with the Better Business Bureau, 4.9 stars from real clients, and they focused on educating you first. Right now, they're offering up to $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments. Whether through your 401k, IRA, or savings, they make it simple to move into something real before the next reset. So, call 844-790-9191. That's 844-790-9191 because they want to educate you first, or just go right to protectwithowen.com. That's protectwithowen.com. Our friends at Allegiance Gold. Protect your wealth and your freedom because no one else will.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
You know, there's a couple things happening right now. And I told myself I wouldn't do this because I've got 6 hours of content to squeeze into a 3-hour show. But let's just talk. Let's just talk a little bit before I start getting into the news. And I'm sure you're kind of seeing the same thing, maybe feeling the same thing. And I'm talking to a lot of people in the media right now. And you're also kind of seeing the signs of desperation, I think. And if you've been following me, then you already know how I operate in the field, in the vast field now of the independent alternative media, even mainstream media. If you're just joining, if you're a new listener to the Owen Report or Owen Schroyer today, you know you'll find out we don't really get involved in the drama. We don't really do the personality drama. We don't really do the kayfabe, whatever it is, the WWE script, the ping pong momentum off of different personalities and shows and the drama. We don't really do that. We cover the news. But obviously, this is part of the news now. There's crash outs happening everywhere. And most of it is going to be inconsequential, if not all of it, actually. If not all of it. And I shot a video, posted it on X, and I guess I need to kind of get back into the habit of posting on YouTube, actually. Now that the Owen Report is live on YouTube, give us a follow. Give us a subscription. how it's all a distraction. And I forget what the distraction was at that time. It was like a month or so ago. But same distractions, same personality conflicts and everything. It's all just WWE hype. It's all just promo. And I said, hey, look, this is fun. And some people in the media like to do this, and it helps their views go up. It helps keep their audience entertained. And I'm just like, look, if you don't want to tune into the news, then that's fine. I don't blame you. I'm doing news. I'm covering news. You want to get the news, you want to know what's going on in the world, then this is where you come. We're not going to do the personality conflicts. We avoid that for the most part. Every once in a while it does penetrate the news. But it's all a distraction. It'll mostly be almost entirely inconsequential. And so I'm watching this happen, whether it's, you name it. You know all the names. You know all the drama. You're seeing all the crash outs. And this is likely, I think a lot of people in media they're overextended. And they're front-loaded, meaning they are very wealthy, but they live an expensive lifestyle. And like many other Americans, despite perhaps a very large income, they have a very large budget, a lot of expenses. So the ratings start to go down. Maybe your income on the social media platform starts to go down. And so you need to do something to try to pick it back up. And everybody's been talking about this phenomenon, by the way. It's been a very well-covered phenomenon. People are frustrated that X views are down and live stream numbers are down. So you got to find ways to pick it up. New clickbait titles, new back and forth WWE-style promos and drama, new little stories within your own little fiefdom in the media to get people to come back in. Oh, I'm going to attack this person over here today, or I'm going to defend this person over here, and it's all this inner conflict. Meanwhile, if you can cut through that noise, you see that some of the biggest decisions that are going to implicate humanity, the entire world, some of the biggest decisions are happening right now when it comes to AI in the future. And I go back and forth, and I wonder, is AI really the existential threat that it could be, or that we think it might be? Is it really that bad? Is it really possible that artificial intelligence or some concept of it can basically go rogue, become sentient, form a mind of its own? Can we really go into Skynet? Can we really go into Terminator? Because all of this is being built right now. And I see some of the alternative viewpoints, and they say it's hype, it's fear-mongering, it's self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, I can see that. I can entertain those thoughts. But regardless, this is all happening. And now the Pentagon announces today they've got a big new AI platform. So how many different AI platforms are now built into the U.S. government, built into the military? We know about Palantir. Now we know about Google Gemini. X was fighting for a government contract. I think Grok got a government contract. And what is it being used for? Are we using it for Doge? Are we using it to track and trace fraud, waste, and abuse? Seems like that's kind of gone by the wayside. And now it's all back to what? The military-industrial complex. But what about the implications for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years? Are we allowed to think about 50 years from now? Do you have kids? Do you think about that? Where is this all taking us? Oh, no. I don't like that this person said this, and I don't like that this person said this, and this person isn't trustworthy. No, that person isn't trustworthy. Well, this person's a Fed. No, this person's a Fed. Meanwhile, the Fed is merging with AI to do total surveillance. It's all being built right now. It's all happening. But I guess it's not sexy. That type of report, that type of headline would have been sexy 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. You could put up they call it clickbait, do a little thumbnail with it, put up a clickbait headline. Imagine if it was Biden. Oh, my God. If this was Biden in 2021, if this was Joe Biden's White House in 2021, and they were signing deals to merge the federal government with AI and to merge the Pentagon with AI, can you imagine what Trump supporters would be saying today? Can you imagine what right-wingers, conservatives, Republicans, can you imagine what they'd be saying today? So it's almost tragic that Trump has got back in there and lulled most of the American media to sleep. He's lulled many of the Americans to sleep or boredom. And I don't know how you could be bored, but, Trump falls asleep in his own cabinet meeting, so I guess I can understand it. It is all tiring. But can you imagine? Oh, my gosh. The headlines, the clickbait, the thumbnails, the reporting. We wouldn't be having these little inter-party conflicts. We wouldn't be having these little interpersonality conflicts, these stream wars. Nobody would be talking about that. Nobody would be talking about, oh, this is a Fed and this is a Fed, or I can't trust this person, or I can't trust that person. Nobody would be talking about that. We'd be all sitting here talking about how Joe Biden and the Democrats are building an AI grid, an AI surveillance grid, an AI war grid. That's what we would be talking about. That's what the clickbait headlines would be. That's what the discussions would be. But no. It's Trump in there. So we're not doing that. And because Trump is in there, most people have just turned it off, whether it's because they trust Trump or it's a non-election year or they're just sick of it all. So they just turned it off. So then the alternative media, they're looking for views. They're looking for their numbers. They see them going down. They say, I need to do some drama. I got to do some clickbait. But I don't want to talk about Trump merging with AI. Maybe it's because I need the access to the Trump administration. Maybe it's because that headline ain't sexy anymore. It's not selling. So I'm sitting up at night and I'm thinking about the implications of all of this. I'm sitting up at night wondering the implications of all the emerging AI. I'm wondering about the implications of the Trump family and cabinet and administration and close friends basically positioning themselves to be the kings in the new AI world. I mean, folks, what Larry Ellison and Oracle is doing right now is insane. If he was doing this with Joe Biden, it'd be the top story. Everybody would be calling out Joe Biden for working with Ellison and all of Ellison's connections and Oracle and AI and data centers. And now he's trying to buy up the media. And now apparently his son is working with the White House and they're saying, hey, help us with this deal. And we will cater CNN's news programming to be more friendly. And what is the independent media that got us this far? What is the alternative media that's this is the moment. This is what we're here for. It's not left versus right. It's not party loyalty. It's not person loyalty. This is supposed to be our moment. The Trump administration is selling you out to foreign interests, selling you out to special interests, and you're not talking about it because you're afraid of losing your access or you're afraid of hurting your MAGA brand or it just doesn't do numbers. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to hear it. So I'm going to talk about this person over here and make wild accusations so that I can create some drama like this is a WWE promo card, and then I'll get the views. So where is it? I don't see any of them talking about this. I don't see any of them talking about it. I don't know. I guess it's no big deal. I guess it's no big deal that we've got competing AIs now merging with the federal government, being propped up by this administration with his friends and his family all positioning themselves to be the kingmakers for the next generation, as the separation of the haves and have-nots is worse than ever. Pretty wild. Pretty wild, if you ask me. Now, let's get to the news. So this is a leaked video with some audio. Trump is complaining. President Trump caught on a hot mic calling out Republicans for allowing Democrats to run the clock down on his administration. We'll play this. I can't appoint anybody. Everybody I've appointed has had their time expire. Then they're in default. Then we're losing. Golly gee. So let's go to this real quick.
Hey, Jeff, you know I cannot appoint anybody. Huh? I can't appoint anybody. Everybody I've appointed, their time is expired. And then they're in default. And then we'll lose the case.
Now, okay, so there's Trump showing the frustration, seeing the things we're seeing and saying, what the hell is going on? But it's like, that's a hot mic. Weren't supposed to pick that up. We're supposed to hear that. Everything, we're supposed to put on a good face for the media. We're supposed to put on a good face for the TV cameras. Well, nobody's buying it, Mr. President. That's the realest you've sounded to the American people since you told Israel and Palestine they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. I'm wondering what the hell's going on, I have to tell you, and a lot of people are too, because it's not adding up. It's not adding up. Why is Trump complaining about the Republicans stalling his agenda when he doesn't think that the cameras are on? And then the cameras go on, and he's fluffing the Republican Party like it's the biggest, baddest bald eagle in the nest. What is that? What is the purpose of that? What are you trying to rally? Who are you trying to fool? And then, and we'll get to this with some of the new clips of Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene and their little beef. And then the very people that are trying to advance your agenda, the very people that are trying to move the ball forward, you attack the most, like Marjorie Taylor Greene. And it's just like, what the hell? And then this. It's so clear now that Susie Wiles is a huge problem. Now, you can go into the whys as much as you want. I'm not here to talk about the whys. The whys are already out there. You can have your discussions. I'm just wondering why this woman is still around. So it's like Trump complains about everything behind the scenes. The frustration is building behind the scenes. And then he keeps Susie Wiles around. Now, listen to what she says here. So everybody knows Republicans' chances of maintaining the House in the midterms are not good. Not good. So there's a little bit of drama. There's a little bit of panic happening behind the scenes. So it's, what are we going to do? They just stalled out the first year of this administration. Now we are looking at the midterms and losing the House, which means the final 2 years are going to be riddled with impeachments, investigations, stalling, everything. They'll probably do a government shutdown. They'll make it last year's. So what's the solution? Well, we go to the genius, Susie Wiles. The genius of Susie Wiles who's led us here. The genius of Susie Wiles who's put us in this position of losing. Let's go. Let's see the solution that Susie Wiles comes up with, because the solution isn't obvious to anybody, right? Like what needs to be done to win the midterms. Nobody can figure it out. It's not like anybody's out here saying, hey, we need deep state arrests. It's not like anybody's out here saying, hey, stop with the low approval rating foreign policy. It's not like anybody is out here saying, hey, what happened to Doge? Right? So we have no idea. We have no clue what needs to be done to win the midterms at this point. Just none. Nobody can figure it out. It's a great mystery. So Susie Wiles, she's going to figure it out here. She looks like she's fresh out of Whoville. Susie Wiles, she's got the solution. The most powerful woman in the world.
He's going to have a fun next year, but we're going to put him on the campaign trail too. Typically, just a little bit of.
What? You're going to put Trump on the campaign trail? Excuse me. Have you lost your ever-loving mind? You're going to put Trump on the campaign trail? Does this woman have any clue what's going on? Honestly. This is a disaster before it even gets started. First of all, in case you haven't seen, President Trump is falling asleep during cabinet meetings. Okay? So let's put him on the campaign trail. Are you out of your mind? Is this intentional sabotage? We got all kinds of problems right now. Trump is on the phone 24/7. He's juggling 10 different chainsaws and a nuclear orb just for fun. So let's put him on the campaign trail. Let's get him out there campaigning. What? Are you insane? And then here's the real bad news that I guess you haven't figured out yet. Here's the real bad news. Trump is only going to hurt the Republicans now. Oh. You don't get it yet, do you? This isn't 2016 Trump. It's not even 2018 Trump. It's not 2020 Trump. It's not 2024 Trump. This is 2025 Trump. Campaigning Trump to win the midterms is not going to win anything. And guess what? His name is still not on the ballot. This is your top advisor? This is your top advisor? This is the genius running the administration? She doesn't even know the basic status of American politics right now? And she says, we're going to campaign Trump. We're going to have him on the campaign trail. You're insane. What is he going to do? Sleep on the plane? Is he going to take a nap in the car before going up to the stage? Well, that's a good idea. Let's put the president who's had at least two of what we know, 2 assassination attempts on his life. Let's put him on the campaign trail. Let's put him out there in front of everybody to shoot. This woman needs to be fired immediately. Immediately. And if Trump wasn't such a stubborn asshole, he would fire her. And you know who he would bring in? He would either bring in Matt Gaetz, or he would either bring in Marjorie Taylor Greene, or maybe General Mike Flynn. Anybody but this. President Trump, please, I'm begging you. I am begging you. You have to get rid of this woman. She is destroying your administration. And I know you see a different world than I see. I get that. This woman will destroy both of our worlds politically if you don't get rid of her. She wants to put you on the campaign trail. Fire her immediately. Put the president on the campaign trail? This is the genius move? How about just one deep state arrest? How about just cutting income tax, property tax? How about just stopping the foreign aid, stopping the foreign wars? Any one of these things will give you 10 times the political appeal to the public that you campaigning will. And you don't even have to leave the White House to do it. I don't know. Maybe you got to go down the hall and tell Pam Bondi to go find her desk and get something done. Or maybe you got to pick up the phone and fire her and bring someone else in. I don't know. Putting him on the campaign trail. That's what Susie Wiles wants to do. Do I want to bother playing the rest of this clip? We have so much news today. I'm going to I can't even deal with her. I don't want to hear anything. More from Susie Wiles. Wants to put Trump on the campaign trail. We're going to be campaigning Donald Trump. In case you haven't noticed, that ain't that popular anymore. And in case you haven't noticed, President Trump is 80 years old. He's a little tired. He's working 12 hours a day, maybe more. He's getting a little tired now. I don't know what's going on with his health. I don't know what's going on with the hands and the IVs. I don't know. Maybe you do. I don't know. And if you do know, and you're still going to send him out there to campaign after they tried to shoot him twice? What kind of madness is this? And it's so funny because I sit back here and I'm just like, get these damn geriatrics out of the way. Get these damn boomers out of the way. You guys have boomer brain. It's beyond repair. It's beyond recognition as far as what we thought we were getting out of this administration. So the solution is we're going to campaign Trump. Unreal. Unreal. As if that's not bad enough. So Trump goes on with Dasha Burns here from Politico. That's nice. He's given Politico a hit. That's nice. So Dasha asks him about the economy. The messaging here is so good, guys. Hey, how's the economy?
Pretty good.
But I do want to talk about the economy, sir, here at home. And I wonder what grade you would give
A
your
plus.
economy. A plus.
Yeah, A plus, 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 plus.
Well, it's interesting.
Pretty good.
But I do want to talk about the
A plus, 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 plus for the economy. Later on in the interview, he talks about how 42 million Americans need SNAP benefits. Great economy. 42 million Americans would starve without government assistance. Great economy. He just had executive meetings about trying to solve the affordability crisis when it comes to energy and cars. Great economy. He just had to announce 50-year mortgages. He's trying to get portable mortgages. Great economy. He's begging the Fed chair to lower interest rates because the economy is struggling right now. It's A plus plus economy. Now, if he wants to come out and say, I need patience, we've just had almost 12 months, almost a year to get our policies in place. Now we're going to start seeing results after 12 months. If he wants to come out and say that, I'm okay with that. I'm willing to believe that. But don't tell me the economy's A plus 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 when it's not. Don't tell me that when a lot of your messaging is all about responding to the bad economy. So it's a bad economy because Joe Biden, but then it's also an A plus plus economy because I said so. That's not good. You want that to campaign, Susie? How do you think that's going to go, Susie? Trump's going to get up there and say, greatest economy ever. And people are going to be like, what the hell? Highest delinquencies in the history of this country. Highest defaults in the history of this country. Highest debt in the history of this country. Yeah, let's campaign that. That'll go great. That'll help Republicans win the midterms. It's almost like they're intentionally sabotaging. Honestly, I cannot fathom how they can be so blind. It's almost impossible. So either they're that blind or they're intentionally trying to sabotage this administration. It's A plus plus, guys. It's the A plus plus economy. Didn't you hear President Trump? With Politico? With Dasha Burns? Winning message. So it's not so good on the Ukraine peace deal. Looks like Zelensky is saying no. What a wild development. Trump accuses Zelensky of not even reading the deal. That was yesterday. And now Zelensky comes out and says, we're not going to do it. And apparently it's over the land dispute. Ukraine prepares new peace plan. Yeah, that ain't going to work. As Zelensky rules out giving up land. It's over. Vlad? Or is he Vlad? Vlad? He's Vlad. He doesn't even deserve Vlad. He's Vlad. Vladimir. It's over, buddy. You've lost the land. The land is gone. And they actually had an election, something that you don't support elections. You cancel elections. You're an illegal president, actually. Zelensky is an illegal president. You're not getting the land. So this is Zelensky basically just saying no. That's all it is. He doesn't want the deal, or whoever controls him doesn't want the deal. So the onus is back on Trump. You know, this is actually, you could say this is good news, Because part of me is just like, at some point, Trump will get so frustrated and so impatient that he's just going to say, all right, we're done. And I would like to see an extreme reaction. I would like to see Trump leave NATO and tell Zelensky we're out. And even come out and say, and I've got this clip of Trump talking about Zelensky. We're going to go to this next. And even come out, it's like the money's already gone. It's all fake at this point. So it's like the money's already gone. Well, we lost $350 billion in Ukraine. $350 billion in Ukraine. So Trump can come out and say, just it's all Joe Biden, which would be mostly true. That's about 50 of that came from this administration. And just say, we're done. This deal is so bad now that we have to cut our losses of $350 billion. And you can blame it on the Biden administration. Most people will believe that. It's fair enough. And then say that you're so soured over this deal, and you're so soured over the negotiations, and you're so soured over the investments with no return, you're out. We're out of NATO. We are done supporting Ukraine. It's over. And maybe we need to rethink our entire geopolitical position when it comes to Russia. See, that's a winning message. But it's like they're all caught up. They all have like this boomer brain. They all have like this Fox News echo chamber brain. And it's like, I don't know. What should I do? And then he turns on Fox News and they're just programming him. It's like Fox News is programming President Trump because they know that's his only connection to the outside world. It's like, I don't know what to do with this Ukraine thing. Boop, turns on Fox News. Is Vladimir Putin, worst person in the world. Zelensky is so great. He needs more money. Trump's like, well, I guess we need to give him more money, huh? Gotta like Fox News. Thanks, Fox. What is going on? Well, he doesn't seem so friendly. President Trump, that is, with Zelensky.
He's a great salesman. I call him P.T. Barnum. You know who P.T. Barnum was, right?
I do.
One of the greatest on earth. He could sell any product at any time. That was his expression. I can sell any product at any time. It was true. He said, doesn't matter whether it works or not. But he's P.T. Barnum. He got crooked Joe Biden to give him $350 billion. And look what it got. It got him about 25% of his country is missing. He's a great salesman.
Yeah, because it was a setup. These people don't care about Ukraine. You think they give a damn about the land? $350 billion laundered, washed, stolen. All the military weapons gone, laundered, stolen. All the men sent to the front lines, dead. Dead. Why we tolerate this as Americans is beyond me. Beyond me. It's really, it's you either have to question your entire reality or you have to reach certain conclusions about this administration. There's no other way to put it. Tell me, what conclusions are you supposed to reach when the messaging out of this administration is deep state criminals, deep state criminals, deep state criminals, deep state criminals? And then there's no action, there's no arrests. How are you going to sit here and tell me about deep state criminals and then not arrest anybody? It's the same thing with this Ukraine deal. It's like, we're getting screwed in Ukraine. They're stealing all the money, $350 billion. What are we still doing there? So, okay, it's like, here's the message. Ukraine foreign policy bad. So what are you still doing there? This is it. The peace deal has failed. The attempt to get any return on that investment has failed. The only chance you have now is to make a deal with Putin. It's the only chance if you want to get anything back. You might decide for other political reasons you don't want to do that, so you just say, we're done. He complains about NATO. He complains about the ratio of spending at NATO. Why are we still in it? So am I losing my mind? Or is this administration becoming a circus itself? Is this administration becoming P.T. Barnum itself? The people in charge of deep state arrests are complaining about deep state criminals, and they haven't arrested anybody. The people in charge of foreign policy are complaining about foreign policy, but they keep having the same foreign policy. That's where you're at. Merry Christmas. So now you've got the war here. And it's like it's so weird. I don't know why. Geopolitical stories are like always behind a paywall. I don't know what's up with that, but that's why I have the Google search results up here with the headlines, because if I go to these stories, it just blocks it on a paywall. Russian drone strike on Ukraine's Sumy, injuries at least 7, says the governor there. Russian drone strike on Chernobyl hasn't led to rise in radiation levels. Chernobyl unable to stop radiation leak after Russian drone strike. Wait, what? So Russia drone strikes Ukraine, and then they say, oh, now they're hitting Chernobyl. The New York Times says no radiation leak. No radiation leak, according to the New York Times. And then the Independent says there is a radiation leak, and the UN can't stop it. What the hell's going on? What is it? Is there a radiation leak in Chernobyl or not? We're getting conflicting messaging here, ladies and gentlemen. And they show this damaged containment facility. Chernobyl unable to stop radiation leak after Russian drone strike, UN watchdog warns. So half the media is saying that there is radiation leaking. The other half of the media is saying there is no radiation. So Russia strikes Ukraine. Ukraine strikes back. 14 injured in Ukrainian drone strike on Russian Volga region, city of Cheboksary. You Russians and your crazy skis. You skis and you skeeves and you ovs. You skeeve-ovs. This is deep inside Russia, by the way, folks. This is not insignificant. This Ukrainian drone strike, that is deep inside of Russia. So the peace deal is not going so well. By the way, here was another peace deal that has fallen apart from President Trump. Totally. Nobody's talking about this, but here we go. Right after President Trump awarded himself a prize for peace. Cambodia vows fierce fight against Thailand in escalating border conflict. This was a peace deal, Cambodia and Thailand, that Trump worked out. And it's falling apart. Fight breaking out at the borders. 5 days of fighting left dozens dead on both sides. Both sides are now upping their war rhetoric, promising to keep up the fighting. Thailand and Cambodia are fighting again, leaving a Trump-brokered peace deal agreement on the brink of collapse. What happened? Well, I think Trump gave it the best effort, and it didn't work. So the peace deal is dead. I think it's simple as that. And I don't want to see Trump get distracted by this for another minute. And it's a shame. It's a shame that we can't get peace. It's a shame that these people are killing each other and there's a war between Cambodia and Thailand. That's a shame. I'm sorry to hear that for those people. And you know what? Our president gave it a shot. He gave it a shot. And unfortunately, it didn't work. So it's time to move on. We gave it a try. It didn't work. It's time to move on. Same situation, Ukraine and Russia. Gave it a shot. Didn't work. Time to move on. Now, you have the White House today with very strong rhetoric against Maduro in Venezuela. You had Trump saying that Maduro's days are numbered. He's finished. You had Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt coming out talking about how scared Maduro is. Well, you can believe what you want. And maybe this is all just a show. But Maduro is having these massive rallies. Here's a massive Maduro rally in Venezuela. And he's basically, it's like he's trying to be Trump, folks. He's out there, he's wearing a red hat, and he's doing the Trump dance. Literally. So Maduro is having massive Trump-style rallies, wearing a red hat and doing the Trump dance. And by the way, look, it looks like he might have a bulletproof vest on here. I mean, it's very low profile if so. Maduro is going out there and standing out in the middle of a stage around high-rise buildings, folks. Now, again, this is no endorsement of any political party or situation or anything at all in Venezuela. Let me be perfectly clear here. I'm not taking a stance on anything in Venezuela. I'm just covering news. And this does not look like a man that's scared. Now, you could say it's all a show, and it's a show of confidence, and that it's fake. And maybe Maduro really does feel that he's pinned against the ropes. That wouldn't surprise me either. But that's not what I see here. And I see a man who is now going to unite his people against the United States of America. That's what I see now. And the more Trump speaks against Venezuela and the more military action we propose against Venezuela and the more they talk about Maduro, the more Venezuela is actually going to unite. The more the people of Venezuela are going to unite behind Maduro. That's how this is going to go. And so what are you going to do now? Are you going to take military intervention? By the way, folks, did you hear? It turns out the last boat that they didn't blow up and the drug dealers that they found on that boat, they weren't even from Venezuela. And they weren't even going to America. Yeah, did you hear me right? One of the drug boats that they seized, that they were going to blow up, but because of public backlash, they didn't. One of the boats they seized, the drugs were not going to America, and the two people on board were not from Venezuela. They didn't come from Venezuela. Just a minor detail, I guess, in that whole phenomenon. So here's Maduro out here having huge Trump-style rallies, dancing on a stage. I don't think a man that's scared is doing that, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think a man that's scared of intelligence agencies, I don't think a man that's scared of his people are doing that. I don't see that. And I'm not, this doesn't sell me anything. I'm not sold on anything here. I'm not taking a stance on anything. You know, AOC and Sanders could come out here and do the exact same type of rally. So it doesn't mean anything politically to me. I'm just saying this does not look like a man that's scared. This looks like a man who is actually galvanizing his people against Trump and against the United States of America. And Trump is giving him the fuel to do so. It's an interesting standoff that they've now postured themselves, this administration. It's an interesting standoff now with Venezuela. Oh. And so here we are. And I got more from Trump on Marjorie Taylor Greene. I got more on the geopolitical side, but I'm sorry. I had a moment of frustration there because it's just like, here we go again. You know, here we go again. I've got Susie Wiles saying the solution to our political problems is to have Trump campaign again. You've lost your mind. Sorry, you're an idiot. You've got boomer brain if you think that's the solution. And then I got the administration tied up in Venezuela and tied up in the ocean and tied up in the Middle East and tied up in Ukraine. Meanwhile, the economy is really in a bad position and the focus is all foreign policy bullshit. And then Trump says the economy is an A++++. It's really upsetting. It's really upsetting. So let's go back into the spat And then I got more on the geopolitical side. But let's go back into the spat between Trump and MTG. Here he is throwing some haymakers in that same interview to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Covering your rallies here. You're hitting the road to talk about the economy. I wonder, sir, what grade would you give your economy right now?
Before I answer that, let me just tell you something. I've watched stupid people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, or some people.
I mean, this is just unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. I'm sorry. It's just unacceptable. And if Marjorie Taylor Greene was the top advisor instead of Susie Wiles, this administration would have so much success. President Trump's approval rating would be 10, maybe 20 points higher than it currently is. This is just unacceptable for him to attack Marjorie Taylor Greene like this. It's just totally unacceptable. And I don't care about the IQ comment, like whatever. Who's got the highest, lowest IQ? Who's getting arrested from the deep state? How many deep state arrests? You want to talk about an IQ number? Give me a number of deep state arrests. Tell you what, when the deep state arrest number is higher than Marjorie Taylor Greene's IQ, then I'll let you attack Marjorie Taylor Greene. How about that?
People call her Taylor Greene. Some people call her Taylor Brown, because
Nobody does
green sometimes turns to brown, which isn't nice.
I mean, this is just pathetic. Do you think you're a poet? Do you think that's a genius thing? You're going to have somebody publish in a book of poetry? That is slop. That is boomer slop.
But I've watched her say that he spends too much time on foreign. Well, by doing that, and first of all, it doesn't take a lot of time. I made one trip. I brought back trillions of dollars on that one trip. I stopped in Japan. I stopped in South Korea. I met with President Xi and ended.
You went to the Middle East. I was on that trip with you.
Went to the Middle East. I brought back $3 trillion from the Middle East. I sold many Boeing airplanes on that trip, like 300. When I go on a trip, I only have one place in mind. It's the United States. So when, people with low IQs like Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's a low IQ person. When she says it's too, but she was a loyal person until I wasn't able to answer her phone calls because I'm just too busy to answer people's phone calls. You can't call me 3 times a day. And it's just, not appropriate when I have, over 200 congressmen, 53 senators, 212 countries, all of these people are calling, and a family. Actually, the family suffers. It's harder for me to call back the family.
There may have been an issue there, and that's fair. You think she's getting annoying or whatever. All right, that's fair. But maybe that's because she was trying to get you a message, and you're clearly not getting it. So, yeah, I don't think she's calling anymore. So that's fine. And it's symbolic, actually. It's symbolic. I think Trump probably chose or was told to ignore her calls, so he did. And now she's not calling anymore. But imagine it like this. It's really just a metaphor. Marjorie Taylor Greene is the average American. Marjorie Taylor Greene is Trump's original support base from 2016. We're calling, Mr. President. We're calling. We're begging. This is an emergency. We're calling. We're calling. We're calling. And somebody told you not to answer the call. Somebody told you not to listen to us anymore, not to talk to us anymore, to cast us aside. So guess what? Now they're not calling you either. They're not calling you either. And that's why Susie Wiles is so out to lunch. Who do you think is showing up to a Trump rally today? The cult. That's who. You can get him to drink Kool-Aid if you wanted. Maybe you will. There's no real revolutionaries. There's no real ideologues. There's no real political movers and shakers. We're not involved anymore. It's kind of like the same thing with the DC culture I talked about yesterday. Who do you think showing up to a Trump rally? What is the point? It'll be a pathetic display. It'll be an embarrassing display. It'll be a cringe display. And the fact that Susie Wiles can't understand that just shows you how out of place she is and why this administration has gone terribly awry. But that's the analogy. Marjorie Taylor Greene is the American people. Trump's not answering anymore. And now the American people, they're not calling. They're calling somewhere else. If he's not going to answer the calls, we're going to call somewhere else. And that's where it's going. And it seems like nobody is trying to help President Trump right now. Nobody is trying to steer him in the right direction right now. Maybe J.D. Vance, but he's literally out to dinner in a T-shirt with his wife. And I guess he's just comfortable with the cult now. He wants to go and speak in front of the cult, have a bunch of cult people waving flags and signs and jumping up and down and hooting and hollering, while the real political movement, the political revolution, dies. And we're calling. We're calling. We're looking for some life support here. We're calling. Pick up the phone. He says, I'm not answering. Call somebody else.
But when you think of what I've done, remember rare earth and the problem with magnets and all of these things that was going to shut down the whole world. I worked it out with President Xi. We have a good relationship. I worked it out with President Xi.
So
Very
that
favorable to the
does
United
come back
States.
to the economy.
And now China has the greatest trade advantage, over $1 trillion for the first time ever.
Oh, wait a minute,
in
wait a
the
minute.
US, right?
You made a statement, though, that I devote too much time to outside of the United States. I've made a fortune for the United States by focusing
And to
on
be
things
clear, that's not
outside.
my statement. That's just what some of your support.
And I'm not so sure about that anymore, folks. These claims of all the incoming money and everything else, I'm not so sure. I got to tell you, I think it might literally all be fake. I think most of it is an idea of a plan, as they say. I don't think the money's there. Why is Sam Altman begging the government for money? Why is China rejecting NVIDIA chips, by the way? That's coming up in the stack. Why is it that NVIDIA is so desperate now that they have to try to get into the Chinese market? Folks, I'm starting to wonder, all these deals that he's talking about, all the trillions of dollars that they're talking about coming in, I don't think it exists. I got to be honest. I'm wondering if it even exists. And I think the only place now where it does is if you're in the Ellison camp, or if you're in the family camp. And all the other people here that they're talking about all the money coming in, I just don't know. Where is it? Where is the money going? The U.S. now has printed more money than ever. There's more money in the supply right now than ever before. Where is all the money? Americans are broke. Where is the money? It's starting to look really bad. I got to tell you, it's starting to look totally fake. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just not seeing it. I keep hearing about it. Where is it? It's literally all these data centers that it's either his family or the Ellison network is in, or if you've got some government contract, if you're an AI or a data center and you've got a government contract, where is all the money going? How do we have more money ever in the U.S. money supply and Americans are more broke than ever? He keeps talking about trillions of dollars, trillions of dollars, trillions of dollars. Where? Where is the money? Where are the jobs? Where are the factories? And don't tell me I wouldn't know what's going on. Don't tell me that there's no way to show that any of this is happening, because, by the way, there is. And there happens to be one individual that's proving it every single day. That's Elon Musk. That's why I just keep getting bullish on Elon Musk. He's like the only one that actually delivers anything. He's out there every day showing you the advancements with Grok, showing you the testing they're doing, showing you the data centers, whether you like it or not. I get emails. I can go tour the boring center. He's got contracts. He's building tunnels. He's got gigafactories popping up left and right. I don't even like Teslas. And it turns out most of them are landing in empty lots because people can't afford to buy the new battery. I don't even like Teslas. But he's out. He shows you the factory. He's like, hey, we just built another gigafactory. He's building the robot factories. Again, I don't want to, I'm not up here promoting the Optimus robot in every household, but it's like, he can go show you, here's our factory, here's the line of robots, they're coming, 15 grand a piece. So you can show me the production. Show me, he says, $8 trillion. Show me $18 trillion of production and manufacturing. Just show me. Don't tell me you can't. Musk has proved that you can. I'm beginning to wonder if any of it even exists, folks. I think the money has ended up in the pockets of the rich. I don't think it's out there anymore.
And some others have said.
Well, then, I can't imagine their supporters because I've made a fortune and spent very little time. All of my time is spent here. Most of my time is spent here. But when I do go outside, it's only going outside for here. For instance, settling and solving the problem with China, that has a huge effect in the United States. Making deals with Japan, South Korea, Indonesia, all of these countries, you're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars. So I guess I could say, let's not deal with anybody. We wouldn't have much of a country.
Well,
we wouldn't have much of an economy. We make a lot of money with these countries. Now, in the past, these countries all ripped us off.
Show me the Apple production factories. Show me the Nike production factories. Show me the Samsung production factories. And then there's NVIDIA, the one guy who's like talking about production and getting chip factories and semiconductor factories and everything else. And he's like, okay, I got to go beg China for money. I got to try to get into the Chinese market because it ain't here.
If you go back during Biden, if you go back during Obama, they were ripping.
We don't want to go back. We want to go forward. We don't want to go back. We're sick of hearing about going back. We're sick of the compare and contrast. What are we doing now?
Us off like no country's ever been ripped off. That's why we owe $38 trillion. I mean, we owe it for a reason, but just.
Oh, yes. President Trump is going to talk about the debt being bad, and he's going to go down in history as the president who added more to the debt than any other president in the history of this country, by the way. And he's going to sit here and he's going to point to the debt and talk about bad deals. The increase in debt will be higher under President Trump than every other president in history. Now, to be fair, that seems to kind of be par for the course now. Now we have $1 trillion in interest payments every year. So, okay, yeah, it seems like any president will probably be able to make the same claim. But that's what it's going to be. Trump increased the debt more than any other president in U.S. history. And he's going to sit there and tell Politico how that's the problem and it's not his fault. But the economy's A++, by the way.
Remember when we had a problem with China very recently, I was able to work that out. You don't work that out by not talking to people, by not answering with the magnets, with the rare earth. It was a big
and you're
problem.
looking to have an impact here back home.
Well, no impact. We would have been shut down. China would have been shut down. The whole world would have been shut down.
Sir,
so wait a minute. So some people would say
the whole world was shut down. This is
on anything outside of our border. I like that too, but I've made trillions and trillions of dollars and solved problems and solved wars. Do you know most of the wars that I solved were solved sitting behind the Oval Office desk on a telephone? I think those are worthy phone calls. Even if they didn't impact us to save millions of lives from another country, and if I can do that easily because I have an ability.
Folks, it's getting harder and harder not to just look at Trump as just an outright liar. I have to tell you, it sucks. I don't know how else to quantify what he just said. Well, now he's got an issue with Pam Bondi. He was the last bitter clinger to Pam Bondi. He posted this last night. Pam, I have reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially, same old story as last time, all talk, no action. Nothing is being done. What about Comey, Adam Schiff, Letitia James? They're all guilty as hell, but nothing is going to be done. Then we almost put in a Democrat-supported U.S. attorney in Virginia with a really bad Republican past. A woke rhino. Oh, you're against rhinos now, Mr. President? Mr. Endorsed Lindsey Graham, 3 straight election cycles? You're against rhinos now? a woke rhino who is never going to do his job. That's why two of the worst Democrat senators pushed him to so hard. He even lied to the media and said he quit, and then we had no great case, blah, blah, blah. Lindsey Halligan is a really good lawyer and likes you a lot. We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now. Yeah, like I said, if the walls were ever closing in, I think it's now, folks. I think now the walls are closing in. And I think Trump feels it to a certain extent. And that's why I think he's trying to make as many allies as possible. I think it's all a self-conservation mechanism. And so now it's like the whole thing is going to pivot. Before we even get anything done, the whole thing is going to pivot to self-protection mechanisms because he knows now they're about to lose the House and he's going to get impeached and he's going to get indicted. And so now he's just trying to get as many allies as possible to try to help him in that process. You should have fired Pam Bondi a long time ago, Mr. President. But you didn't listen to us. You didn't listen to the panicans. And now you seem to be a bit of a panican yourself. Talks about Lindsey Halligan not being able to prosecute the case. Oh, golly gee. Who saw that coming? So where's Pam Bondi? Let's see. Fox News? No, you got Erica Kirk on the Fox News tour right now. She's doing 5 Fox News shows this week, so I don't know. They might not have time. They might not have time to book Bondi. The Trump event in Pennsylvania is ongoing. Tell you what, though, we're late for an hour break. When we come back, we'll talk about the new deal that the Pentagon just reached with Google's AI.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Extra dimensional and multi-universal. Here's your host, Owen Schroyer.
Did you guys see the latest podcast, Beef? Did you guys see the latest podcast drama? No. The Trump administration is building the Skynet grid over us right now. Did you see that one? No, they're in a podcast war. I'm in a podcast war. Podcast wars, streamer wars. No, let's go to the Pentagon. Pete Hegseth.
The future of American warfare is here, and it's spelled AI.
Oh.
As technologies advance, so do our adversaries. But here at the War Department, we are not sitting idly by. Under the leadership of President Trump, America will lead the charge on this technological transformation by revolutionizing the way we win. And that's why today we are unleashing GenAI.mil. This platform
I'm sorry. It's just so bad, guys. Oh, man. What do they call that? Gallows humor. We're revolutionizing the way we win. Look, political propaganda doesn't fly here, bro. Win what? Win what? What are we winning? Did we win in Ukraine? Did we win in the Middle East? So what, are we going into Venezuela? What are we talking about here? Don't worry, guys. Everybody getting into the tech investments now. Everybody getting into the AI investments now, which you can't afford. You can't afford it, you peasant. You'll be lucky if you could even afford a stock in one of these companies, you peasant. That's who's winning. It's the tech industrial complex. It's the new phenomenon in Washington, D.C., the big tech industrial complex. And we're revolutionizing the way we win wars. What wars? No, they're building Skynet, folks, and they're about to enrich themselves beyond our wildest dreams as they build this Skynet grid over us that probably our grandkids or great-grandkids are literally going to have to fight to free themselves from.
It's the world's most powerful frontier AI models, starting with Google Gemini, directly into the hands of every American warrior. At the click of a button, AI models on Gen AI can be utilized to conduct deep research, format documents, and even analyze video or imagery at unprecedented speed. Building on the great work of Undersecretary Emil Michael and his team, we will continue to aggressively field the world's best technology to make our fighting force more lethal than ever before. And all of it is American-made. The possibilities with AI are endless. Now, let's get to work.
You know, none of this is Pete Hegseth's fault. And just as a standalone thing, all right, technological, military advancement, whatever. Okay, good, fine. But it's just like, it just doesn't hit. I don't want to hear about a new AI military. I don't want to hear about a new lethal force. We have corrupt demons that run our foreign policy. We have corrupt demons that run our military. That's who we're giving this power to, Pete. You're not going to be around forever. It's the same deep state that's trying to destroy you. It's the same deep state that's trying to remove you. Everything is out of whack. Deep state arrests had to happen first. Draining the swamp had to happen first. It had to be the first thing. It had to be number one. It had to be. It's the only way this code works. It's like a lock code for a safe. And the only way you can unlock this safe is by arresting the deep state first. But you didn't do it. So you're not going to open the safe. This is the official statement from the Department of War. The War Department unleashes AI on new GenAI.mil platform. This is going to be powered by Google, by the way. The War Department today announced the launch of Google Cloud's Gemini for government as the first of several frontier AI capabilities to be housed on GenAI.mil, the government's new bespoke AI platform. This initiative cultivates an AI-first workforce, so not a human first. Oh, my gosh. Oh, man. This is not financial advice, but I'd invest in drone companies. I don't think the AI thing is a bubble. I think it's the future. Quantum computing, data, nuclear energy. By the way, you want to know how all of this works, guys? And I guess I've been talking more about the markets this year than I ever in my life. And I actually was on a show earlier today with David Gorkstein. I hope I got that right. Let me make sure I got his name right. I apologize, David, if I didn't. It's a great show. Yeah, David Gockstein. Excuse me, David Gockstein. Really has a nice show. He did a good interview today. I'm going to be posting that full interview on my YouTube channel. But we were talking about the market. He covers the markets. And when this store. Let me tell you how rigged the markets are first. And then we can talk about the implications of what they say here. And let me pull this up too. Let me see where the Google stocks are at right now. So when this news popped this morning, first thing this morning, I said, "Oh, better get into Google." I said, let me do the background check here to see what's happening. And it was barely a boost today. But you can go look at the Google stocks for the last week, and there was a giant dump last week. In fact, it was basically, it just happened. They dumped, and then they got the news of this new AI deal today, and then they got a 1% boost. And you think, well, it's only 1%. Yeah, well, when you're dealing in hundreds of thousands, when you're dealing in millions with an expensive stock like Google, which is Alphabet, yeah, you can make a pretty nice deal off of a 1%, knowing exactly when you have control over it. We're going to dump. We're going to get the announcement of the Google AI deal. We're going to get a 2% boost. And that's exactly what they did. So that's what I'm saying. If you're smart and you see how these markets are rigged, you can ride these waves. And you can do that. All right, so getting back to this. The initiative cultivates an AI-first workforce. So what are we talking about, folks? We're talking about AI robots. We're talking about AI pilots. We're talking about AI generals. That's what we're talking about here. Additional world-class AI models will be available to all civilians, contractors, and military personnel, delivering on the White House's AI action plan announced earlier this year. I forget who it was. Somebody said it earlier about this. They're like, oh, this is the first big step in the new AI military. It's like a positive thing, like a good thing. And I'm hearing this. I'm like, are you even listening to yourself? We will remember this day in 50 years when we're probably fighting robots in the streets. And we'll say, I remember when they came out and said how great this was, and they turned over our military to AI. Have you even seen a single science fiction movie? Have you seen one? It seems to only go one direction. Now, I said this in the opening of the show, and maybe it's true. Maybe there's a self-fulfilling prophecy there. Maybe AI is not what it's being sold as, and it's just another computer program. It's just another computer program, just rebranded, repurposed with advanced tech that needs more energy than any other tech. Or maybe it is something that can form a mind of its own. Maybe it is something that can get sentient, make its own decisions, and then God knows what happened next. And so it's like, if that's the case, what are we doing here? If there is if there's a 1% chance that this AI can go sentient or get out of control or go rogue or start making its own decisions now with all the power and access over everything that it's now been granted. If there's a 1% chance that that could happen, is it worth the risk? We all know the implications. We all know the existential threat. Is it worth it for 1% risk to race into this? And I guess they don't care. They're making so much fucking money right now. Pardon my English, but they are making so much money right now. They don't give a damn. And they know, since they're investing at the ground level in the data centers, in the artificial intelligence, in the quantum computing, that if they just cook it into everything, especially military spending, the military budget, defense spending, if they cook it into that, they're going to 100x in the next 10 years. They're going to 100x. And it's all Trump's family, and it's all Trump's friends. These are facts. So the FBI director is in Qatar, and he's cutting AI deals with them. FBI Chief Kash Patel visits Doha months ahead of the 26th FIFA World Cup as Qatar, U.S. signs security MOUs. Qatar is providing security, support, and expertise for the World Cup. And that's their entry ground. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security signed an MOU with Qatar's Ministry of Interior in July this year, where they focus on enhancing security cooperation in preparation for the World Cup. I am excited for the World Cup, by the way. That's going to be fun. I'll go normie slop American on that. It's not really slop. That's a world tradition. I support it. I think this is their entry, though. Oh, we need your help with security in the World Cup. So here we go. So Patel is over there meeting. Oh, by the way, you can only imagine. Oh, you know who is freaking out that Kash Patel is in Qatar today, panicking. And by the way, a lot of people are concerned. I will tell you that even General Flynn reached out in concern with this today. And I was just like, look, it's all about money. It's all about corruption. And he agreed. FBI Director Kash Patel on Tuesday met with Qatar's Minister of Interior, Sheikh Khalifa bin Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani. Can we do something about this, Mr. Minister? Mr. Khalifa bin Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani? You know what? If you got a name like that, you got to have at least 3 wives. If your name is going to be, if you are going to be Interior Sheikh Khalifa bin Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, I want at least 3 wives. Anything short of 3, then no. Then you're just going to be bin Khalifa then. All right, kidding aside. During the meeting, the 2 memoranda of understandings were signed by Patel and Sheikh. With the aiming of bolstering bilateral security cooperation in areas of training, information exchange, and capacity building. Now, I got to tell you, I'm not as concerned about Qatar as others are. I don't express the same concerns of say, a General Flynn, which I think his concerns are more based in reality and intelligence and foreign policy and relations than people who just hate Qatar or hate Muslims or whatever, But I don't have the same concerns. And I think that the foreign policy and the attitude of it and the direction of it is now so bad and so hated that people are going the opposite direction now. And they're just saying, you know what? It's been such a bad thing. You know what? I like Qatar. You know what? I like the Gulf nation states. You know what? I like Muslims. It's all just this reaction to a poison. The poison of our foreign policy. The poison of Israel's influence on it, and the poison of Israel's influencers trying to control the conversation. We're just sick of the poison. So it's like, okay, this is poison. I'm going to try what it is against that just because this is clearly poison. And it's all poison, quite frankly. But they're going to be, they're signing this deal. They're going to be bringing in new AI deals. They're going to be teaming up for security deals. And most importantly, they're going to be sharing intelligence now. So we're bringing in Qatar into the intelligence community. The U.S. Embassy said, the U.S. Embassy in Qatar, this visit was part of the broader strategic partnership between the United States and Qatar to advance global safety, stability, and cooperation through dialogue, innovation, and joint capacity building. So there you go. Qatar now into the intelligence community. And Patel over there signing security deals, intelligence sharing deals. It'll all be AI. And maybe none of these deals even matter because once it's all AI, globalism is complete to a certain degree. All right, I kind of missed this one yesterday. We covered it, but I missed an angle. And I can't believe I missed this. Because I'm the guy that loves to tell you how right I was. It's true. It's true. I can't help it. I'm that guy. I like to be right. So remember, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, and I said, this moment It's probably more than 2 weeks ago, actually. I don't know. Time is flying, but you'll remember if you're a daily listener. We love you. And I said, this is the moment that the Democrats have decided they're going with the radical left. This is the takeover of the Democrat Party. They've made the decision. They're ushering out the dying old guard Democrats, and they're bringing in the radical left. This is their moment. And after the Mamdani victory, they said, okay, it can lead to victories. And so now they're going all in. So yesterday I talked about how the Crockett Senate move was all about her afraid she would lose the House race. And it's better to lose a Senate race than a House race. In fact, if you're a Democrat, sometimes it might be better to lose a Senate race than win a House race. But regardless, that was the whole strategy behind Crockett saying, I'm just going to run for Senate instead. So Allred, who represents more of the old guard Democrat Party, is now going to be replaced by Crockett, who represents the new guard Democrat Party. Now, Ken Paxton is going to win the race. I'd say it's pretty sure thing. But I can't believe it. This is just, how did I miss this yesterday? The guy that loves to tell you how right I am, my gigantic ego getting in the way. And I said, this is the radical left taking over. And so that's what this is. So it's not just Crockett deciding I don't want to run in a House race and lose. I'd rather run in a Senate race and lose, or use that as a stepping stone to whatever I'm going to do next, because there's going to be massive funding. There's going to be a massive campaign. It's going to get all kinds of national attention. She's going to say crazy things from her 10-pound makeup mask. It should be illegal to wear that much makeup. But no, this is another sign of the radical left taking over. That's what this is. And I can't believe it. I can't believe me, little old me, who loves to be right about everything. I can't believe I failed to clarify that yesterday. But there you go. We're clarifying it now. So the deed is done. Here's the NVIDIA story. Trump's blessing of NVIDIA AI chip sales to China gets a chilly reception from GOP. Again, folks, I'm telling you, this is a sign to me. This is a sign all that money he talks about bringing in is not there. And Jensen Huang with NVIDIA is saying, I'm about to get screwed on this deal. I need to get my chips into the market in China. And China, the GOP is like, well, we don't like that for security reasons. President Trump's decision to let the U.S. tech giant NVIDIA sell H200 artificial intelligence chips to China is getting pushback from some Republicans. The agreement unveiled by Trump would permit the chip exports on the condition that the U.S. government gets 25% of the sales. What kind of a deal is that? And, of course, Lindsey Graham doesn't like the deal. So why is NVIDIA so desperate to get into China if they have all these great deals in the U.S.? And the U.S. economy is booming. Why is NVIDIA so desperate? NVIDIA can sell the more advanced H200 AI chip to China, but will Beijing want them? So they get the green light from Trump. But China is not so sure. China to restrict access to NVIDIA's advanced H200 chips as Trump looks to lift export curbs. Now, there's could be two reasons for this. Let's get into the story a little bit, and then we can break it down. China is set to limit access to NVIDIA's advanced H200 chips, even after President Trump said the U.S. chip maker could resume exports to Beijing. Chinese companies have been forced to use the less powerful domestic alternatives as the U.S. has enforced strict controls on its AI chips, fearful Beijing could use the tech in military applications or to edge ahead in the AI race. But now it appears those export curbs could be lifted. Chinese regulators are discussing ways to allow only a limited access to the chips as it encourages domestic production. Two people with knowledge of the matter told the Financial Times. So here's the situation that China is in. As it says here, they have the less capable AI chips. They have their own domestic products. Some of them are good. Some of them aren't as good as the market in the world. But China likes to keep everything internal. And China likes to have the Communist Party overseeing all of this stuff. So China wants all of its chip manufacturing and AI capabilities to be in China. So they really don't want NVIDIA to move in, but they recognize that this is the most advanced AI chip. And I also think they recognize this is a chance to maybe hurt President Trump's geopolitical agenda or his negotiations with China. Because I think China is onto something with all of these empty deals and empty promises, and they know that NVIDIA is kind of the loose thread that they can pull to do so, to kind of expose this on the global stage. So China's like, well, we don't want to bring in outside tech, but it is superior tech, and it could expose that all these companies cutting deals with President Trump to make their big money in America, it's not going so well, so they have to come here to make their money. And then maybe they use that as leverage. So that's going to be an interesting thing to watch develop. China set to limit access to NVIDIA's H200 chips. We'll see. We'll see how that one goes. You know what? This video got misplaced. I kind of shook these things up. I meant to play this video after the Trump attack on Marjorie Taylor Greene, but I got a couple responses from MTG. So let's go to that now. None of this had to happen, but here we are. MTG responding to some of the attacks today on CNN.
To be precise, in addition to what we just heard there, President Trump posted yesterday that you are, quote, and I'm quoting him now, not America first or MAGA, and your, quote, new views are those of a very dumb person. That's the president of the United States speaking about you. What's your response to these latest attacks?
Well, actually, Wolf, I feel very sorry for President Trump. I genuinely do. It has to be a hard place for someone that is constantly so hateful and puts so much vitriol, name calling, and really tells lies about people in order to try to get his way or win some kind of fight. And I think that's exactly what's wrong in America today. That's what's wrong in this toxic political environment that has ripped our country apart. And I personally think that that's poor leadership from a president. It's a very bad demeanor, and Americans are very tired of it.
Wow. She's right, by the way. And that's the problem that Trump is going to have now, that I tried to warn him about. Not like I think, it's actually funny. Our intel used to get to Trump, and then somehow it stopped after he got elected. Yeah. But that's the problem. Everything Marjorie Taylor Greene just said is true. It's just true. Doesn't mean we like it, but it's still true. And that's what I'm just like, I knew this would happen. Now the chinks in the armor, folks, they're exposed, and Marjorie Taylor Greene knows how to hit them. And they're fully exposed now, and now Trump is giving her the sword to start hitting them. And everything she said is true. It's undeniable. Didn't have to be this way. And it's a shame, but here we are. Here's more from MTG.
I also am concerned because I don't think the president's team nor the speaker have told the president about the legislation that I've introduced, that actually much of it directly, literally aligns with the agenda that he campaigned on. I campaigned on in 2024. Many of my bills are actually his executive orders in legislative form. And if the speaker would pass my bills, if the President Trump were to sign them into law, guess what? His executive orders, which make him literally a temporary president, his executive orders, which are my bills, would become law that would become permanent. And so I think it's very unfortunate.
Because when I
also am concerned because I don't think
Now tell me, why would Marjorie Taylor Greene's bills that basically codify all of Trump's executive orders, why would they be getting ignored by the Republican Party? And why would Mike Johnson not be trying to make sure those bills get passed? That's odd. That's odd. And then you wonder, Trump complains in the leaked video that we played in the first hour, and then Trump complains about how nothing gets done. Well, yeah, President Trump, you trust Mike Johnson. There's your problem right there. You trust Mike Johnson and Susie Wiles as your advisor. You want to know why nothing gets done? Because Susie Wiles is your advisor. Pam Bondi is your attorney general. and Mike Johnson is your Speaker of the House. It's right there, Mr. President. Allow me to reiterate. For the President of the United States, Donald Trump, that is expressing frustration that nothing gets done. Mr. President, here is why nothing gets done. Your Attorney General is Pam Bondi. Your lead advisor is Susie Wiles. And your Speaker of the House is Mike Johnson. That's why nothing gets done. Now, I know you don't have control over everything, but there are two things in there that you can have control over. So if you want things to get done, you might need to start doing some things yourself as far as personnel changes and delegation of duties. By the way, did I miss? When did Wolf Blitzer had to, Wolf Blitzer might be drinking heavily now. When did they do this? When did I miss this? I want to plug this into, I wonder if Grok can tell me. When did they give Wolf Blitzer's show to Pamela Brown? I feel like that's a new thing. I got to figure this out. This is driving me crazy. Because Pamela Brown used to have her own time slot. And Wolf Blitzer used to be on like 3-4 hours a day in the Situation Room with his gigantic ego. Yeah, that was earlier this year. That is a recent thing. And they cut his time. Oh, my gosh. I guarantee you the Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer. Now it's the Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer and Pamela Brown. Oh, I guarantee you when they cut his time slot and added a co-host, I guarantee you he was throwing conniption fits, probably drinking heavily. I'm sorry, Wolf. They put the hot blonde on next to you. Should have seen it coming, Wolf. You had so much damn time. That had to piss him off. I would have liked to have been in that meeting. I'm not going to lie. That would have been a fun meeting. Speaking of meetings, apparently J.D. Vance is out to dinner, and now it's confirmed. I was wondering if it was even him because I couldn't believe it. So apparently he's out to dinner last night with his wife, Usha, and they get into a fight, and they're having a bit of a loud argument. He's got a T-shirt on. He's drinking a martini, and you can see she's frustrated as, he's scolding. It looks like a scolding session here. He replies, he posts this today. He says, I always wear an undershirt when I go out in public to have a fight loudly with my wife. Spoken like a true Ohioan. Way to go, JD. Way to play the role. Way to know your role and play it strongly. By the way, this happened in Dearborn Heights, Michigan. Their town Christmas tree did not come in. And so Sam Hussein, a local business owner, spent $10,000 in his own money bringing this giant bird from Norway and making sure that it's set up and let it go. So don't hear about in time. Meanwhile, NOAA forecasts strong geomagnetic storm for today. I don't think we're going to see the cool aurora borealis this go around, but I wonder if there won't be some issues that follow along with this. It's like whenever they build it up as something big, nothing happens. And then when they don't build it up at all, that's when the big thing happens. A powerful solar eruption is expected to hit Earth soon, according to a forecast from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Space Weather Prediction Center. A coronal mass ejection, a massive burst of solar material and magnetic field from the sun's outer atmosphere is expected to arrive at Earth early midday Tuesday. Oh, it's happening. It's happening right now. A geomagnetic storm. We're still on air. So I guess we're doing all right. Hey, so last night, I'll play one clip from this. I'll play one clip, but there are definitely some clippable moments. Oh, I guess I'll get into the streamer wars here for a second. So Nick Fuentes was on Piers Morgan, and here's just one of the clips real quick.
Just to clear up one of the many theories about you, I've no idea what the answer is, and you haven't got to answer. But are you actually attracted to women?
I am attracted to women.
You're not gay?
No. But I will say that women are very difficult to be around.
Okay.
So there's that.
And do you think they should have the right to vote?
I do not. No, absolutely not.
They should stay at home?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
See, basically, you're just a misogynist old dinosaur, aren't you? For a young guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm the boomer. I know I'm the boomer here, but actually, you're a 27-year-old dinosaur, aren't you? Aren't you, Nick Fuentes? All women.
I am.
All women are annoying. All women grow old. They all get fat. Says the guy. Have you ever had sex?
No, absolutely not.
Wow. Says the guy who's never got laid.
Now that's funny. Now that is funny. And of course, anytime Nick does a big interview like that, the commentary brigade comes out to start to critique everything. And forget, whatever you think about Nick Fuentes, everybody's got their opinion. I actually think that was the most genius I've ever seen him handle an interview. And I don't know if that's because of the different experience he's gained recently, specifically recently with some of the other interviews that he's done, or maybe as he's kind of coming of age, he understands the implications of speaking to a large audience, and it's not just, being a streamer anymore, but he reaches a large audience, so he's starting to kind of change his tact and change his message. The whole interview was hilarious. And I don't think people understood what Nick was doing. And I think I did. I might be wrong. I think I understood what Nick was doing, and I think it was genius. I think it was absolutely brilliant. He knew the assignment, and he executed it perfectly. There was no point in going on there and trying to have some debate with Piers Morgan. There was no point in going on there and trying to prove any points on Piers Morgan. There was no point. So the only thing that you can do in that situation is just lean in, smile, and wave, and then let the people decide. And it caught Piers Morgan so off guard that you had so many moments like that where it's like Piers was expecting a pushback or expecting a debate or expecting this got you thing. And Nick was just like, no, there's no got you thing. It's like, yeah, I don't like women. It's like, yeah, well, maybe 8 million Jews died in the Holocaust, actually. Everything that Piers set Nick up with for a gotcha moment, Nick just waved and said, and smiled and waved. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was the best got you interview. I thought he handled it perfectly. I was very actually impressed with the way he handled it. So again, whatever, people have all their opinions on Nick and all their opinions on his stances on things. I thought he handled the interview brilliantly. I thought it was perfect. And there were a couple things, everybody Monday morning quarterbacks. But again, there was no point. Nick is not going on there to convince anybody about World War II history or the Holocaust or maybe even foreign politics. But what he was able to do is he was able to destroy. What it's all about is they want to be able to put you in a box. They want to be able to put you in a box and then put you on a display and say, see, here's the guy in the box. It's like, this is the guy we've created. He's this, he's that. And they want you to go on there and kind of like play that part and maybe get mad or furrow your brow or debate. And he just kind of smiled and waved and just said, yep. And Piers Morgan didn't know what to do. He had no idea how to handle it. And he ended up kind of flopping in the end of these gotcha moments. He ended up just kind of flatlining because Nick just sat there and smiled and just said, yeah, that's it. So I thought that was really well handled. I actually thought it was brilliant. And I'm glad Piers did it, by the way, and I'm glad he went in the direction that he went. But Nick was totally prepared. He was totally prepared. And I think most people going into that, if they hated Nick, or most people, if they had some sort of a negative connotation of Nick going into that, I think that they're going to see that and their entire view on Nick changes. They might still think his stances are depraved. They might still think that his viewpoints are despicable even. But as far as this character that they want to do, because that's what they want to do. They want to build a character and then put you in a box and then put you on a display case and say, see, this is him. And he just did not let Piers do it. Instead, he said, no, this is who I am, but I'm not letting you put me in a box. And he threw Piers off multiple times. So I found that funny. I got to say, that was definitely funny. This one's funny, too. It looks like the relationship is not as it was originally being portrayed. Mother of Caroline Leavitt's nephew rejects White House portrayal of her after ICE arrest. This is like a in-law, no longer in-law, but still, connected through a kid. Bruna Ferreira, who was released from ICE custody Monday on bond, denies claims that she's an absentee parent. Well, she was set for deportation. She's now going to be allowed to stay here as her case is being reviewed. Ferreira, who was detained by ICE in November during a traffic stop in Massachusetts, was being held at a Louisiana detention center, said in an interview that the White House statements that she had never lived with her son or spoken with Leavitt in many years were incorrect. Ferreira, 33 years old, had a relationship with Leavitt's brother, 35-year-old Michael Leavitt. They had a son, Michael Leavitt Jr., now aged 11. So it's like, oh, it's a bad look. We're deporting sort of an in-law here. And now she's not getting deported. They should probably just deport. Sorry, you're here legally. You got to go. Kid can stay. If the kid wants. Harvey Weinstein says he is grateful for Dame Judi Dench's kind words. This is wild. So Judi Dench says he's been treated wrongly and it's time for him to get out. He was the fall guy for the whole Me Too thing. It's kind of a joke. Not that he's not a creep or pervert or maybe even belongs there. But Judi Dench says he's done his time and deserves forgiveness. Weinstein, who had been at the center of rape or sexual misconduct allegations from more than 100 people, with some claims dating back to the 1970s. The allegations sparked the Me Too movement. There it was, which highlighted sexual violence in the film industry. The whole purpose was to spark the Me Too movement and then try to get it to stick to Donald Trump. That was the entire purpose. But it failed. And so Weinstein had to go down, and now he's basically serving time for a political agenda that he had nothing to do with. Now, did he deserve it? Was he guilty of all this stuff? That's a separate conversation I'm not having here. He was the fall guy for Me Too so that they could get it to stick to Trump in 2016, and it failed. That's how it went. But isn't Hollywood just disgusting? Isn't it just gross, this Hollywood? It's just gross. All right, I'll tell you what. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take an early break. We took a late break last hour. I'm going to take an early break here because I'm about to do something we're all sick of, but it's going to have to be done. I've got now basically an entire stack of Israel geopolitical news. And this stuff is pretty wild, actually. This stuff is pretty wild. So it kind of shows where the Israeli lobby is going. It shows where AIPAC is going. And then I'll kind of juxtapose that with the results that are going to happen politically in elections, political culture, everything else. We'll do that here coming up. We'll hear from Hillary Clinton. We'll hear from AIPAC. There was an interesting segment last night on Bill Maher that I think shows you where the conversation is going. You had Benjamin Netanyahu getting attacked inside the Knesset for his war crimes that they're trying to imprison him for. You had protests out in the streets. You've got protests in Europe. You got 1,000 U.S. pastors going and pledging loyalty to Israel. Yeah, this is all happening right now. So we'll bring all that to you in the final hour, and hopefully I can kind of just power through it, because I don't want to weigh into too much opinion there or commentary. I just want to bring you the news and the developments. So we'll do that coming up in the third hour. But have you drank your coffee today? Have you gone to blackoutcoffee.com/Owen and gotten your coffee yet? Are you a coffee drinker? Drink with the friends of the show. The official coffee of the Owen Report, blackoutcoffee.com/Owen. And maybe you're into the single serve pods. It's the rage now. Everybody's got their coffee maker at home with the single serve pod in it. It's quick. It's easy. Usually tastes good. You can get it done. Get a nice hot cup of coffee. So it's kind of trending right now. So Blackout Coffee can deliver for you there too. The single serve pods. They've got 36 flavors, ladies and gentlemen. 36 flavors. Now, a couple are sold out right now, so you'll have to be patient until they get back in stock. 36 flavors. From cherry jelly donut to the normal, what you can get in a bag there, the Morning Reaper, the Brutal Awakening, or other flavors. The Blueberry Crumble, 5-star review, by the way. The Butterscotch Toffee, 5-star review. The Caramel Cream, 5-star review. The Jamaican Me Crazy, 5-star review. Are you starting to get the picture? Are you starting to get the picture here? How about some holiday? How about some holiday cheer in your coffee? A Pumpkin Spice, 5-star review. A Peppermint Mocha, 4.5. Wow, we're struggling at 4.5. That's as low as it goes here. The Winter Wonderland. Eggnog is sold out. I'm sorry. The Candy Cane, still in stock. All of these flavors and more. So if you're into the single serve pods, if that's how you like to consume your coffee, go to blackoutcoffee.com. Try some of these popular favorite flavors. Get a box delivered to your house and enjoy this coffee with your family and friends over the holiday season. It's the official coffee of the Owen Report, blackoutcoffee.com/Owen. All right. We're going to play it. We're going to take a quick break here. Give me a couple minutes. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're really going to dive into the latest developments on the Israel situation, which are, quite frankly, crazy. We're going to hear from Hillary Clinton to Ben Affleck. We're going to see the drama that's unfolding right now in Israel with this debate, which tells a larger story that most people aren't hearing. So all of that coming up here. Third hour on the other side. This is the Owen Report.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
No one can stop this. 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 No one can stop this.
Navigating between the sane and insane. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, the saber rattling. The saber rattling here with Trump towards Maduro has apparently expanded now. Trump continues to say Maduro's days are numbered, and he's not weighing out a ground invasion. And now apparently threatening Mexico and Colombia, which is where the drug dealers are actually coming from, by the way, saying that they could be at risk for an invasion too. That's great. You know, I think it's great. I'm so glad we can get all these invasions and military actions before any deep state arrests. So glad. It's what we voted for. So tired of winning. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic, guys. All right. So here we go. Hillary Clinton wants to weigh in. What is this bitch still doing in politics anyway? She wants to weigh in on why Israel is losing popularity in America. So let's hear what she has to say.
That our students, smart, well-educated young people from our own country, from around the world, where were they getting their information? They were getting their information from social media, particularly TikTok.
Ah! Oh, really? And so there it is. And that's why they had to sell TikTok. It had nothing to do with China. It had everything to do with foreign policy and the support or lack thereof for it. And yes, specifically Israel.
That is where they were learning about what happened on October 7th, what happened in the days, weeks, and months to follow. That's a serious problem. It's a serious problem for democracy, whether it's...
Yes, it's a serious problem that you can get independent sources of information. It's a serious problem that you can communicate with people around the world and reach your own conclusions. It's a serious problem. They need information control. We all know. Yes, we're very aware. But it is funny for you to say that out loud at this conference, I must say.
Israel, the United States, and it's a serious problem for our young people. And it was frankly shocking to me how little the students we were encountering, not only in this class we teach, which is a very large class, international relations about crisis decision making, but students more generally. And that's why I mentioned the social media piece of it, because when you would try to talk to them to engage in some kind of reasonable discussion, it was very difficult because they did not know history. They had very little context. And
oh, yes. That's what it is. We can't have a civil or rational discussion about foreign policy or our current relationship with Israel because people don't know history. That's what it is. It's not because of the accusations and the name calling being flown around. That's what it is. Okay.
What they were being told on social media was not just one-sided. It was pure propaganda. And so when you think about how to tell Israel's story, and it's important, it's not just looking internally, it's looking externally, and particularly looking at young...
Shut up, bitch. Okay. Now, Pope Leo is kind of weighing in on this. I may want to hold off on this one, though. Let's go right to AIPAC. We'll hold off on Pope Leo for now. So this is an actual ad from AIPAC. So we've been covering how AIPAC is trying to do damage control, but it's actually having a opposite effect than the desired effect. It's like they're ramping up the propaganda to the highest degree that they've ever done, but it's the worst timing. And it's actually having a reverse effect, but they keep doubling, tripling, quadrupling down. So this is a new AIPAC ad. Can you imagine this ad? So AIPAC is now the most number one talked about in a negative way political action committee. And it's now recognized as the most corrupt political action committee. It's now recognized as a foreign influence in our country and a force of control over our foreign policy and directly over our Congress. So these are all negative things. This is the understanding now. This is the interpretation of AIPAC. And it's about to take such a bad turn that running against AIPAC is going to be a winning strategy. And the Democrats are going to embark on that strategy and that journey in the midterms to, I think, success. And then the dominoes will fall after. So AIPAC is doing everything they can to do damage control right now. And this is the ad. This is the ad they're going to run.
AIPAC.
Today, AIPAC.
On Capitol Hill, AIPAC.
AIPAC.
AIPAC. AIPAC.
You may have heard our name.
Okay. All right. By the way, you probably don't notice this. This is just my weird freak level attention to detail. It's like you hang out with me long enough, do people watching or go to a ball game or a concert or watch a movie. You start to realize I kind of have this freak level attention to detail. It's probably obnoxious. Do you know where that background music is from? That is the background music from the introduction to Patrick Bateman in American Psycho. When he's going through his daily routine and talking about his honey almond butter face balm in his condo in the Heights. My name is Patrick Bateman, the American Psycho killer that puts on a mask every day so that people don't know who I really am. That's the background music they chose for this ad. So if you're a big fan of that movie, as I am, now you will hear it. It is the same song. Okay. Is that an admission? Is that an oversight? Is that a coincidence? There it is.
AIPAC.
Today, AIPAC.
On Capitol Hill, AIPAC.
AIPAC.
AIPAC. AIPAC.
You may have heard our name, but how much do you really know about AIPAC? AIPAC is an American organization that works to strengthen the U.S.-Israel relationship. This partnership helps keep Israel safe and advances America's interests and democratic values. Our 5 million members are U.S. citizens, Democrats and Republicans from every part of the country who urge our elected leaders to enact pro-Israel policies. This includes expanding America's defense partnership with Israel, supporting life-saving security assistance, confronting Iran and its terror proxies, and promoting peace and normalization. Being pro-Israel is good policy, and AIPAC members make sure it's good politics too. We raise money to help elect pro-Israel candidates for Congress from both parties. And we take the political fight to our opponents, helping defeat anti-Israel candidates running for the House or Senate. AIPAC is leading the fight in Washington to secure the future of the U.S.-Israel relationship. The actions of pro-Israel Americans today will help determine the future of this bond and the fate of both countries.
Tell me how they think that is going to help their cause. It's like, here's the conspiracy theorists talking about AIPAC controlling Congress, talking about AIPAC being a foreign influence lobby for Israel, talking about AIPAC controlling our foreign policy, talking about AIPAC advancing the U.S. military on behalf of the Israeli agenda. And then AIPAC comes out and admits all of it in their ad. What? I'm sorry. This is too good. I got to try to do something right here. I want to see if I can I get that background music? I don't know what it would be called. Like, what would I even search? Patrick Bateman Intro music. I don't even know what it's like, that piano. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. That's not it. Hold on a second. Oh, I might have found it. Hold on, let's do our own APAC ad. All right. Here we go. Hi, we're your friends over at APAC. And we've seen a lot of negative stories about us in the news recently. So we'd like to reaffirm what APAC actually stands for and accomplishes. Your friends at APAC have been involved in U.S. politics for decades. Once a proud Zionist organization, we had to change our name after your president, J.F. Kennedy, tried to have us registered as a foreign line. He conveniently, a few days later after that, we renamed ourselves APAC so that we could claim we were an American institution, even though everybody knows we only serve the interests of a foreign country. Yes, you have long believed that your Congress, your politics, is a uniparty system, two wings of the same bird. And you'd be, that bird, of course, is APAC. We control your Congress. That's why we don't care who wins and who loses, because both of your parties serve us. And who do we serve? Israel. So if Americans have a problem with foreign policy, look no further than APAC. If Americans have a problem with the U.S. supporting everything Israel is doing in Palestine, Gaza, the West Bank, Jordan, Syria, then thank your friends at APAC. And if any candidate in the United States may emerge as a threat to Israel, or a threat to APAC, we will spend tens of millions of dollars to make sure that they can't win. And we'll send a suitable candidate that will serve the interest of Israel over the American people, because that's what we do. And we're going to make sure that our friends in America support our propaganda, promote our propaganda, and keep us in control. And if at the end of the day we win, that means another $20 million or $40 million for Israel will be voted on by the Congress that we control. There's a little rendition for you. How do you like that? That's their ad. I was just mocking their ad. That's what we did there. Can you believe they actually did that? That's crazy. Ah, that's what they did, though. So, all right. Let's go to Bill Maher last night. This is crazy. It's a great conversation. And this conversation is really just getting started, if we're being honest. So Israel gets brought up last night on the Bill Maher show. It goes like this.
I would argue that liberals have failed us. And the crucial point of confusion, thank you.
Thank God you're here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the crucial.
Are you the person who understands the officially codified doctrine of Islam? You're the interpreter of that, so you can say, well, this is. I think
I'm actually well educated on this topic.
I'm asking you. So you're saying if I criticize you're saying that Islamophobia is not a real thing. That if you're critical of something,
well, it's not a real thing when we do it.
Right.
Well, no,
it really isn't.
I'm not denying that certain people are bigoted against Muslims as people. And that's a problem.
Big of you.
But
why are you so hostile about this?
It's gross. It's racist.
It's not. But it's so not.
It's like saying those stateless shifty Jew.
You're not listening to what we are saying.
You guys are saying if you want to be liberals, believe in liberal principles.
Right. Remember, if logic can't be applied universally, it's not logic, it's propaganda. And that's what Ben Affleck is exposing here.
So not
your shifty Jew.
You're not listening to what we are saying.
You guys are.
So what he's pointing out here, and this is where a lot of Americans are reaching the conclusion that, hey, this logic is only getting applied one direction. You can say all these things about Muslims, but you can't say anything else or the exact same things about Jews. What is up with that? And they say, well, you have to hate them. They're your enemy. And people are saying, well, wait a second. Who's really controlling my Congress? Who's really controlling my media? And by the way, when you bring up 9/11, we don't believe that official narrative. So that doesn't work, which is actually scary because you wonder if maybe there's another 9/11 coming to try to rehash that.
Saying if you want to be liberals, believe in liberal principles like freedom of speech, like we are endowed by our forefathers with an inalienable rights, like all men are created equal.
Ben, we have to be able to criticize bad ideas. And
of course we do. No liberal doesn't want to criticize bad
ideas. But Islam at this moment is the motherlode of bad ideas.
Jesus.
So we have. But Nick,
or how about the more than 1 billion people who aren't fanatical, who don't punish women, who just want to go to the store?
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Wait a second. Any of the things you're saying all Muslims.
Wait a second.
Things, and you painting the whole group religion with that.
No.
What is your solution? What is your ask?
No, the solution. The solution is very much what
we've killed more Muslims than they've killed us by an awful lot. We've invaded more Muslims.
I am not for more killing.
An awful lot. And yet somehow we're exempted from these things because they're not really a reflection of what we believe in. We did by accident. That's why we invaded Iraq and put 4 million people.
We're not convincing anybody.
It's not I'm specifically telling you that I disagree with what you think.
I know, and we're obviously not convincing anybody of you.
You don't understand my argument.
Your argument is like, black people, they show each other.
That is not my argument.
You're talking ISIS couldn't fill a AA ballpark in Charleston, West Virginia, and you were making a career out of ISIS.
No, it's not just ISIS. It's all jihadists. It's global. It's a phenomenon of global jihad.
I think that's the opposite.
There is those things. There's ISIS. There's global jihadists. The question is the degree to which you're willing to say, because I've witnessed this behavior, which we all object to on the part of these.
By the way, here's the disconnect. And I cut it a little early, but that's fine. Here's the disconnect from Bill Maher and from Sam Harris, that it's just not landing with Ben Affleck. Obviously, it's no secret, Bill and Sam are Jewish, and so they hate Muslims. And this is what they don't understand. We, white Americans, white Christian Americans, do not hate Muslims. Now, some do. Some have kind of bought into that, but most have given it up. Most are over it, or most don't really see it as it's being sold to us. So Bill and Sam are sitting there saying, hey, you need to hate Islam. You need to hate Muslims. They're the biggest threat. And Affleck is saying, I'm not buying it. We're not buying this game of hate. We're not in this DNA holy war for thousands of years. That's not us. That's not the American people. That's not white Christians. We don't want to hear about it. And it's kind of starting to come off as extremely bigoted, by the way. It's actually becoming outright bigotry, by the way. Just by the way. And so Maher and Harris are just stunned. They're like, what do you mean you don't hate Islam? What do you mean you don't understand Islam is the greatest threat? We don't have this ingrained into our culture. We don't have this ingrained into our theology. We don't have this ingrained into our households, our dinners, our DNA. It's not ingrained like it is. They can't comprehend it. They want you to hate Muslims so bad, and they'll do anything to try to get you to do it. And that's what's so scary. But it's not working anymore. And now that we're seeing the depravity of what Israel is doing in Palestine, it just doesn't land anymore. It just is a total swing and miss now. You can't claim the high ground anymore. You can't claim to be better than the jihadists anymore. You look like the jihadists now. And it's just this total disconnect because they thought that you hated Muslims. And so now it's like, hey, we're killing Muslims. Hey, we're taking their land. Hey, we're overthrowing everything. Like, this is good, right? And people are just saying, no. Like, what do you mean you don't hate Muslims? Like, what? I don't hate Muslims. What do you mean you don't want to kill all the Palestinians? What are you talking about? I want nothing to do with that. It's like, what do you mean you don't hate Qatar? Like, why would I hate Qatar? It's just this inherent belief system that they have because they are indoctrinated into hating these people. And it goes both ways, by the way. That's why I don't want anything to do with any of it. If you're going to take Middle East theology and politics and you're going to bring it here, then stay the hell out of my country. If you're going to bring that poison to America, if you're going to bring that cancer to America, and you people can't figure out peace for 3,000 frickin' years, And you're going to bring that here and try to indoctrinate me into that. I don't want it, and I don't want it here either. But now it's here. Now it's all Middle East politics. It's all Middle East hatred, and they'll probably drag us into a war, and eventually we'll look like the Middle East. But that's what the disconnect is. And they're like, especially after 9/11. Who believes in 9/11? You got to be a moron to believe 9/11. I'm not a moron. Don't insult me. I'm not an idiot. But what about 9/11? It's like, what about 9/11? Are you insulting my intelligence that I think the official narrative of 9/11 is true? Now you're insulting me. So first you're trying to get me involved in your hatred. First you're trying to sell me on your hatred and your bigotry. I'm not buying. Then you're going to try to sell me a gigantic lie and insult my intelligence like I can't tell September 11th was an inside job and a false flag. And that's their disconnect. So it's like, wait, you don't hate Muslims? It's like, no, I don't hate Muslims. But what about 9/11? That was a lie. And then what do they have? They're just stunned. This is the conversation, and it's not going anywhere. And it's not going anywhere. So as this debate rages on, and obviously the proponents of Israel, the supporters of Israel, they're very outspoken. And they really believe in the cause, and they're not going anywhere. And they're out there every day in the digital battlefield. They're out there every day in the commentary space trying to win their cause. But they're losing so badly, and they've lost so much ground on the narrative that they keep having to reposition themselves. So listen to this. So this is where they're at now. Now they have to admit. Now they can't deny it. At first, it wasn't happening. It was a total denial. And by the way, we'll have Netanyahu today, who's kind of still trying to deny it. But now all of their influencers are saying, well, okay, we're killing kids, but so is everyone else. Oh, yeah. That's where they're at. That's how much ground they've lost on the narrative. Listen to this.
I haven't seen you speak about any other children that are dying or being assaulted or starving in other parts of the world. Your feed is primarily talking about the children only where in Gaza. That is not a person that cares about children. That is clearly a person that simply hates the Jews and hates Israel.
Boy, that's an interesting thing to say. First of all, it's not true, but isn't that amazing? So now you're admitting Israel is killing kids. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So now you're admitting it. Israel is killing kids in Palestine. Israel is slaughtering children in Gaza. Okay, so now you're admitting. So I'm glad that you're finally having to give up now some of this ground of lies. Some of the ground in the commentary world that you're standing on has been built in lies. And now we've taken the ground. And so now you're like, all right. So first was, we're not killing kids. Now it's like, yeah, fine, we're killing kids. But you only care because you hate Jews. What? What? You are the one that just lied about killing kids. So let's maybe start there. Why you lied about killing kids that you're now admitting is happening. So maybe we should start there instead of you projecting hatred onto us. But secondly, oh, I only hear you talk about Gaza. I only hear you talk about what the kids Israel is killing. Well, yeah. Do I really have to explain why that is? You people are so dishonest. Honestly, you people in the Israeli lobby are the most dishonest people in the media right now. It's disgusting. And I don't know how you're so blinded to it. I don't know if you're so blinded by your own hatred. I don't know if you're just so confident in your own propaganda. But in case you haven't noticed, it's not working. And so if you are really that ignorant and you have to ask, why are people only talking about kids in Gaza, then you don't even belong in the conversation. Go home. But since you asked, last time I checked, Israel was the #1 benefactor of U.S. foreign aid and military aid, and it's not even close. And last time I checked, the most powerful foreign lobbying group in the United States is AIPAC, which lobbies on behalf of Israel. So there you go. So absolutely, Americans have every right to talk about the killing of the children in Gaza because, unfortunately, we're forced to pay for it and support it, and we don't want to anymore. But I'm glad you're finally admitting that Israel is killing children. I'm glad that you have finally admitted that. What will you guys admit next? Okay, this is, I don't even know how. Randy Fine. I mean, my goodness, this is Trump-endorsed Randy Fine. This is just a weird thing to say. I don't even know how to respond to this. I'll just let Randy speak for himself.
I am here to fight, and we are in a time where we need fighters. We need people to go out and fight. We need people who are not going to be afraid, because if we stay silent in the face of what is coming, not only on the left, but on our own side as well, our time in this country could come to an end as well. Jews have been kicked out of every country we've ever lived, and it's never been our own fault. And there are people who would like to do the same to us here. And unfortunately, some of them are in our own party. But I can promise you this, as long as I'm in Congress, they ain't going to win. So thank you guys for having me. I am here to fight.
No comment. No comment. By the way, there's new reports coming out of Israel on the missiles that hit Tel Aviv. Folks, there's a big cover-up of this, but the Israeli defense systems failed miserably. And if it wasn't for Donald Trump, if it wasn't for President Trump and the United States moving in, what could have happened in Israel and Tel Aviv would have been really devastating. It would have been like what happened in Gaza. Tel Aviv would look like Gaza right now if it wasn't for President Trump and the United States. And where's the thank you, by the way? Where's the appreciation, by the way? No, it's just more demands. So these reports are coming out how badly their missile defense systems failed. And then on top of that, they were out. They were depleted, folks. They had nothing. If it wasn't for Trump stopping those strikes and getting the deal done, Tel Aviv could have looked like Gaza. And they're kind of covering up these reports because of how bad it is, and they don't want to give anybody the green light to try to strike again. But folks, it's bad. It's bad. And all Israel is doing is creating more enemies right now. And all Israel is doing is losing the support from what would normally be its greatest support groups in Europe, in the West, in the United States, and they're losing them all. And it's their arrogance, it's their entitlement, it's their bloodlust. I don't hate Israel. I feel bad for the people of Israel. Folks, most of these people are just like us. In Venezuela, there's a left and there's a right, and they fight all the time. In Israel, there's a left and there's a right, and they fight all the time. They're mostly just like us. It's just a matter of whose leaders are the most corrupt, whose leaders sell them out the most, whose leaders have agenda that hurts the country or does or helps the country, I guess, if there's any of those left. There's a reason why people are fleeing Israel right now. And I imagine it's going to get worse if these reports start getting out about how badly their defense system failed. And they come out and they say, oh, we've got the new iron beam. They have this new laser defense system that they claim can shoot missiles out of the sky that they've just contracted. Folks, it's been a blackout on how bad it could have been in Tel Aviv. And they're prepared, and they do have missile defense, and they have advanced warning systems and good intelligence, and people are able to get to bunkers, and they're able to save a lot of lives. But if President Trump didn't step in, and if the U.S. military didn't step in, Tel Aviv could have looked like Gaza. And I'm afraid if Netanyahu keeps this up, and if Israel keeps this up, I'm actually afraid that day could come. And I don't want that. I don't like Netanyahu. I don't like his policies. I don't like what the IDF is doing. I have nothing against the Israeli people. Most of them are just trying to live their life like you or I. That's all. They just want to wake up in a comfy bed and go to work, have a nice lunch, and go home with their families, play a game, whatever. And the people in the left wing of Israel, they're warning right now. They're warning Netanyahu. They're warning the people. They're saying this is bad. And they're covering up the real military intelligence of how bad it could have been. And how President Trump probably saved tens of thousands of lives by intervening there. But I don't know. I don't know how much longer Israel can hang on to this, folks. It's not good. It's not good. And now that they're having to admit that innocent children are dying in Gaza, so here's Netanyahu's pivot. So, okay, innocent children are dying, but it's not us.
These people who tortured women, raped them, then beheaded them, burnt children alive, babies alive, took hostages, Holocaust survivors, babies. This is outrageous. People demonstrate for them and accuse Israel of bogus war crimes because Israel has gone to lengths that no army in history has done in the most difficult urban warfare situation, asking the population to leave, and Hamas shooting them to keep them there so the casualties can appear on the various international networks. I understand the enormous effect this has on the publics in Germany and Europe and to some extent America. These people.
So there's Netanyahu saying, all right, innocent women and children are dying, but Hamas is shooting them. It's Hamas. And we're in a difficult urban warfare situation that's tough to navigate. Dude, you're carpet bombing. What are you talking about tough to navigate? You're carpet bombing it. Which, ironically enough, you denied.
I think Churchill, would have been accused of stupendous war crimes. We don't carpet bomb. We don't do Dresden. We don't do any of that. We send our soldiers, some of whom die, trying to clear out these booby traps that Hamas has put in. So how come Israel is getting bashed so quickly?
How many people have reached the conclusion that Benjamin Netanyahu is the most evil man in the world? I'd say if there was a poll, there was a worldwide poll, I think Benjamin Netanyahu would be the most. He would pull number one most evil man in the world. I don't even know if it's even close. You probably get Xi Jinping up there, probably Kim Jong-un, maybe Donald Trump. But it's probably Netanyahu. I mean, this guy is an unreal, bloodlusting liar. And his lies are all falling apart now, guys. They're all falling apart. So now it's all right, we were killing kids, but it was Hamas. Oh, we were trying to save civilian lives. Oh, never mind. It's the most aggressive campaign. We had no other choice. It's urban warfare. All of their lies are falling apart. And it's not so good in Israel, guys. Let's be perfectly clear. This is not an American commentary issue. This is not a Western commentary issue. The issue is actually even hot and heavier in Israel. And I think a lot of these IDF soldiers are realized that they've been lied to, and they've now taken part in a very evil war. And this is why they're committing suicide now at the highest rate in the world. Israeli reserve officer dies by suicide after being involved in Gaza genocide. A 28-year-old from Givati Brigade struggled with trauma tied to his role in October 2023 war, local media reports say. And so it's all of these Israeli officers that are committing suicide. Now, you can call it whatever you want, genocide, whatever, war. I don't even think it matters what label you put on it. They're committing acts of evil, folks, and they're killing themselves afterwards. And you know what's funny? The same foreign policy shaped by Israel and the same wars in the Middle East shaped by Israel resulted in what? American veterans committing suicide at a record rate. So I guess the good news is Trump isn't putting our soldiers there to do these despicable acts and then come home and commit suicide. Now it's just the IDF being forced to do it. 279 IDF soldiers attempted suicide since 2024, Knesset reports find. Combat soldiers made up 78% of all suicide cases in Israel last year, a sharp rise from where it was in the 40% just a few years ago. So isn't that funny? Israel controls the U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East. American soldiers go over there and fight. Many die. American soldiers come home and commit suicide. Israel sends its soldiers into war in Gaza. They come home, they commit suicide. Seems to be a common factor here. Seems to be a common factor here, guys. Now, this is going to be in Hebrew, so you won't understand it, but I guess I could play the audio anyway with this video. This is Netanyahu getting lambasted by the left in Israel over the war crimes, and he's sitting there smiling like a demon as this is going on.
יודע שהחלטת שהכל מותר לך. זה הרי הלקח שלכם מה-7 באוקטובר. הוא לא לימד אתכם צניעות. הוא לא לימד אתכם איך מכירים בכאבו של האחר. הוא לימד אתכם רק דבר אחד, רק לקח אחד הפקתם מהיום הנורא.
By the way, and I'm watching this, and again, it's like, we're so the same. America and Israel is so the same. They have all their stupid little political things. They all wear their political pins on their lapel, and it's the same crap. They have a left, they have a right, and it's just the same crap. It's just the same corruption. And it's just the people that suffer.
תולדות המדינה הזו, שאסור לקחת אחריות על שום דבר. זה השיעור שלימדת אותם. לא לוקחים אחריות, לא מבקשים סליחה, לא מודים לעולם בכישלון, בטח שלא מתביישים, אין דבר כזה בושה. נותנים לזמן לעבור, מציפים את המדינה בסיפורים ובקונספציות עד שאף אחד כבר לא יודע מה אמת ומה שקר. רק השבוע עשיתם את הלא יאומן, ואז עשית את זה עוד פעם עכשיו על הדוכן. שנים אתה מספר לכולנו שהתיקים קורסים, ואז מתברר שאתה קרסת ורצת לבקש חנינה, גם הנשיא טראמפ וגם הנשיא הרצוג.
And there's Netanyahu just smiling like a demon. Smiling like a demon on the corpse of 80,000 people. I can't wait. I can't wait till these olds are out of power. It's obvious that as long as Netanyahu is in power in Israel, there will never be peace in the Middle East, ever. As long as the Likud is in power and AIPAC has control over U.S. foreign policy, there'll never be peace in the Middle East. As long as the military-industrial complex has its claws in Washington, D.C., the U.S. military will never stop being at war. This stuff has to end, folks. This stuff has to end. And I'd like to think I'm going to be part of the generation that ends it. Because the generation that's run it, it's beyond despicable. It's beyond words, actually. It's beyond comprehension, quite frankly. And the fact that Netanyahu is so numb to it, so numb to the millions of dead people in the Middle East because of foreign policy and his direct influence on it. Millions of people are dead because of Benjamin Netanyahu's presence in the political world. Millions. And he doesn't care. He just smiles like a demon when he's finally getting called out for it. In his old age, when he's finally having to face the crows, the chickens coming home to roost. And he just sits there and laughs and smiles like a demon. I can't wait till there's a new leadership, but my fear is that these people are going to burn the world to the ground before they ever give up power. They're going to burn the world to the ground, folks. They're going to burn it to the ground, or they're going to create an AI system that will target anybody that they view as a threat and have them killed. These are psychos. These are psychos that we're dealing with. Psychos. And they're so numb to death. And they're so separated from humanity and their own soul. As long as these people remain in political power, the world will never know peace. It'll never know peace. And it's sad that Trump has decided to go along with it. It's sad. And he can sit here and talk about the peace deals He can sit here and pretend like he's the peace president, and he can put a peace award over his own neck while he's smiling up there, a fake award. No. Sorry. Not buying it. Not buying it one bit. And if these people really wanted peace, they'd get it, President Trump. If they really wanted peace, they'd get it. They don't want it, and they're not going to get it. All they're going to get is war. And I'm sick of them getting us into this war. Now, outside, as this is going on, there were protests in the streets. And this is over the conscription where Orthodox Jews in Israel used to not have to be forced to serve. Now, Netanyahu needs more to throw into the meat grinder. So they're talking about forcing Orthodox Jews to serve in the IDF. And so there's protests out in the streets. People are getting run over by cars. It's total chaos. Netanyahu has been one of the biggest disasters for peace on this planet, probably in my life. I don't think there's anyone else. I don't think there's anybody else more responsible for death and destruction than Benjamin Netanyahu. Now Israel has come out and said that they're going to have airstrikes on Palestinians that are starting fires because it's air pollution. So I guess I don't know why they're starting fires. I don't know if they're trying to cook food or get warm or they're just starting fires for whatever. So Israel is saying they're calling for, this is the Likud party. This is Netanyahu's party. They're calling for airstrikes in Gaza for Palestinians who are starting fires. And they're saying it's because it's pollution. Meanwhile, here's the view from Gaza where they want to have these airstrikes. Here's the view right here. It's all rubble. And then, oh, look, here's Israeli power plants with smokestacks emitting pollution into the air. But you can't start a fire in Gaza or Israel's going to hit you with a missile. Now, if you think anti-Semitism or anti-Israel mentality is bad in America, folks, it is mainstream in Europe. And they don't really have the AIPAC power, and they don't really have the Israeli loyalists' control over the media, like, say, a Larry Ellison here, who's a top donor to the IDF, or Fox News, or everybody else, the Adelsons, everybody that's in bed with Israel, everybody that's loyal to Israel. They don't really have that in Europe. And so anti-Israel sentiment has gone mainstream in Europe, folks. I mean, it's part of their culture now. It's so mainstream that while Eurovision was airing the Israel entry in the show, Spain was showing footage of the carpet bombing happening in Gaza.
Spanish national television withdraws from Eurovision after Israel's presence is confirmed. The organization keeps Israel in the competition after it has killed at least 70,000 Palestinians, continues to attack and kill civilians, even now during a ceasefire, while being investigated for genocide in international courts.
It's mainstream news in Spain. That's mainstream news in Europe, folks. That's you go to the local news 5 o'clock after dinner, and you're seeing that in Spain, in Europe. It's not good. So they see this going the same direction in America. So they flew 1,000 Christian pastors, Israel, not Qatar, flew 1,000 Christian pastors to Israel to secure the loyalty inside the Christian church. 1,000 pastors.
Rabinovich later commended.
Listen.
The group began with prayer and worship on the ancient southern steps that led to the Temple Mount in Jesus' day. Then they visited the Western Wall. Some 16 million people pray at the Western Wall each year. But this is the first time a group of this size has come to offer such a unique blessing and prayer. Each person had a paper with the name of someone massacred on October 7th. They put them in the cracks of the Western Wall and prayed for the victims' families.
What about the Americans that died fighting in the Middle East because of Netanyahu's bad intelligence and lies? What about the Americans that died fighting in the Middle East and Israel didn't help them at all? What about them? What about the October 7th stand down that led to these people dying? Yeah, no, we're not going to do that because this is all propaganda, folks. This is all brainwashing propaganda right here.
The pastors met with Western Wall Rabbi Shmuel Rabinovich, who prayed Psalm 121, which proclaims God's protection over Israel. Rabinovich later commended the group for their support.
In Shamayim, pray a few. God bless you.
They're a group that came to confirm the friendship between America and Israel, to confirm that this world is a world that the Holy One created for good, to reject evil, to be against those who want to do evil and not good.
You mean like Jesus?
Rabinovich told CBN News that Israel and the Jewish people cherish and appreciate the support from the U.S. government and the nation's Christians.
Well, that's nice. That is nice. But unfortunately, you're losing it rapidly.
We want to say thank you to them for supporting us in so many ways. It's a period when so many people want to hurt us and kill us on the 7 fronts we're fighting, and America stands by
the 7 front they're fighting, the 7 countries they're bombing right now.
Our side. These 1,000 leaders will bring our message of thank you to the American people.
Can you imagine it, folks? Can you even imagine it? Because you're getting a taste of it in America. Israel just starts bombing your country and says, you hate us, you want to kill us. And they're like, what the hell? Like, what? It's like the same thing here. You're like, hey, I don't like our foreign policy in the Middle East. You hate Jews. You're an anti-Semite. You want us all dead. What? I just was talking about foreign policy. What is with this psychosis? What is this? It's this trauma-based mind control that they're trying to drag us into. I'm not buying it. I don't want anything to do with it. And that's what it is. You're getting a taste of it now. We're fighting a 7-front war in our defense. They're bombing 7 countries. They're not what? None of these countries are attacking them. The only country that attacked them was Iran, and that was Iran responding to an attack from Israel. You can say, okay, Hamas did October 7th, a disgusting act that deserved retribution. No doubt about it. But it was a stand down, folks. They stood down. They let it happen. Don't kid yourself. So, the 7-front war, the people that want to kill us. People are just minding their own business. Here comes an Israeli bomb up their ass. What the hell? You're trying to kill me. What? It's the same thing happening here. You're just minding your own business. You're like, oh, gee, I don't like what's going on in the Middle East. I don't like our foreign policy. You're trying to kill me. You hate me. What? It's the same thing. Oh, don't worry. This trip, there was a lot of action. They want to remind you where it all stands here in Israel.
You said something, Mr. Prime Minister, Vice President, that is not accurate. You said...
So they're attacking Vance now because Vance isn't all on board for these wars. Go figure.
The policy of the Trump administration is that the West Bank will not be annexed by Israel. That will continue to be our policy. Mr. Vice President, we love you. We love you and we love America. But there's something you have to understand. The policy of the God who birthed America and the policy of the God who gave these people this land is, in fact, that Judea and Samaria is Bible land. It's Bible land.
Wow.
We have 66 reasons Mr. Vice President, why it's Bible land. The 66.
So, in other words, we know America doesn't support the foreign policy of Israel in the Middle East anymore, but we don't care because we control you. We're going to do it anyway. We know Americans are sick of the war, but we don't care. We control you. We're going to do it anyway. And then we're just going to say it's all religion. It's all God. God tells us to kill these people. God tells us to take the land. You know, again, it goes back to that conversation with Bill Maher. And this is inevitable, and that's why I'm so afraid something really bad is going to happen. Because it's very obvious where Israel stands. Israel is Israel only. Israel is Israel only, and they'll do whatever they think they need to do because they believe it's all ordained by God. And this is all in the Old Testament, by the way. This is all in the Old Testament. It's nothing new. Israel has been warring and winning wars and losing wars and being enslaved and then having slaves. It's all been going on for years. So it's nothing new. These people won't advance out of the Stone Age. But more importantly, there is an inevitable conversation that is going to hit the West. It's really already here, but it's not penetrative enough because they still have these events and they still indoctrinate Christians into all of this. But there's an inevitable conversation here, folks. And that's, how is it? It seems so counterintuitive. And I want to get along with everybody. I don't want to see religion keep us separate. Let's be clear. I don't want to see that. But there is an inevitable conversation here for Christians in the West and Jews in the West. There's an inevitable conversation that's going to happen, which is, do Christians believe in the new covenant of Jesus Christ or not? It's simple as that. Do you believe in the covenant of the New Testament of Jesus Christ or not? And if you do, then the old covenant with Israel is gone. It's very clear in the Bible. Jesus comes to free the people. It's very clear. Jesus comes to free the people. There is no God's chosen people. There is no group of supremacy people chosen by God. It doesn't exist. It's the new covenant. Jesus was sent to tell us. Jesus was sent to free us from a group ordained as God-chosen people, a group ordaining themselves as superior, as supremacists. That is the new covenant. That is the New Testament. That is the basis of Christianity, is that Jesus came with the New Testament from God and the new covenant from God to free the people of planet Earth and to deliver the message of freedom and redemption that everybody is God's chosen people. Everybody gets entry into the gateway of heaven. And here's how they do it. That's the new covenant. That's the New Testament. Doesn't really coincide with what they're preaching here, folks. That's just a counterintuitive, obvious thing that eventually Western Christians are going to have to confront. And I know it's a nasty thing to confront, and there's a lot of implications that come along with that. But all you got to do is just say, hey, maybe stop killing people. Maybe stop dragging us into these wars. Otherwise, this conversation is only going one direction. And then you see this new push. And I think I would rather just see everybody get along. Muslims, Jews, Christians, everybody. Everybody should be able to get along. It's the friggin' 21st century, guys. Come on. Okay? Let's relax. So I want to see everybody get along. And I see an effort. I see an effort from all parties to try to get everybody to get along. But there's a group that still believes they are God's chosen people, and therefore they have dominion over this earth, and they are superior to you. And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But is that not Judaism? Is that not Zionism? Am I wrong about that? Am I wrong about the religion of the Old Testament? Am I wrong about a God's chosen people? Is that wrong? They're the ones that say this is our land ordained by God. It's our land, so we can kill who's ever on it and take it. It's not my religion. It's not my political belief. But I'm forced to pay for it. I'm forced to support it as an American. And people are sick of it. They don't want anything to do with it. And so are American Jews. Actually, the vast majority of American Jews, apparently, because they all vote Democrat. And the Democrats are against this. And they just helped get Mamdani elected in New York City. See, things are not as simple as the propaganda would want you to believe they are. But so I see this, and I see America starting to have good relations with Muslim countries. And I see America starting to open up relations to Gulf states and Islamic leaders. And I see the American people trying to move on from this disaster foreign policy in the Middle East. And I see people like Steve Witkoff trying to go over here and actually get peace deals done and stop the killing, whether it's so that they can acquire land or whatever. They're just trying to get a peace deal done here. But no, not everybody wants peace. It's pretty clear there are people that do not want peace. They just want death and destruction, and they believe it's ordained by God, and so they're never going to stop because that's what they believe. And eventually Christians are going to have to confront that. Because I'm sorry, but this is not Christian. It is not Christian to support what Israel is doing in the Middle East. I don't care if you believe that Israel is our greatest ally or not. That is not Christian. 10,000 dead children is not Christian. 20,000 dead women is not Christian. Carpet bombing an entire country is not Christian. And it is not ordained by God. And if you are truly Christian and you believe in the doctrine of the New Testament and the new covenant of Jesus Christ, eventually this is going to confront you. But that's why I'm afraid something big is going to happen, and they're going to say, see, Muslims hate you. And they're going to try to start up that hatred again and start up another war again. That's my fear. That's my fear. Well, let's go to a Vietnamese American, shall we? This guy seems to make some sense.
Since when the fuck did we have to bow down to certain communities? Look, I'm Asian. I'm Vietnamese, okay? When we have our own communities too, and our communities thriving. You know, we have businesses. We've been here only, what, less than 50 years since after the 1975. Our communities are thriving throughout the United States. If you look at our numbers, there's only about 2 million of us here in the United States. And out of that 2 million people that we have, majority of us have businesses, scientists, engineers, doctors, bright mind people that given back to this country more than we've taken. And we have never asked anybody to bow down or speak our language, okay? Since when the fuck this stupid ass mayor of the little pirate motherfucking land pirates Molian in Minnesota have to speak their language and apologizing for those motherfucking crook ass pirates? Since when we have to do that? This is just a fucking crook, and he's a Jewish dude. What a shame, you know? What a shame. What the fuck's wrong with him?
So that video went so viral, he decided to do a follow-up. Keith Fan is the TikTok account. The video went so viral, he decided to do a follow-up, and so here's that.
Good day, folks. You know what pisses me out the most is that the people that came to this country and want a good life here and want to become an American, and yet they're out there waving the fucking flag, protesting this and that, all that shit. If you are legal, what the fuck do you have to worry about? Unless you do some dumb shit and you worry about getting deported. Okay? People like me came here legally through the process. We're Americans. Okay? We love this country. We love the flag, the American flag, the America. The red, white, and blue. Okay? We don't care about our flag. We left that shit behind.
I like this guy.
You dumb son of a bitch, do some dumb shit with your flags. You might well take that flag and shove it up your ass and go back where you come from. Motherfucker. If I see you on the road waving your flag, I will call ICE because I get $750 each, bitch.
I like this guy. We love our Vietnamese Americans. Let me tell you, we had a meeting, the Vietnamese Americans. They are some of the most patriotic Americans. I got to tell you, you start to look around and you see some of these liberals. What do you call them? Democrats, progressives. They hate the country, don't they? They hate it. They burn the flag. They protest the country. And I go to my Vietnamese Americans, and what do they say? They say, we love America. They say, Trump, we love it. We love the flag. We can't have a big enough flag. And I go to their businesses, and they own car shops, and they own cafes. We've all seen the Vietnamese cafe. We love the food. Well, maybe not me, but somebody loves the food. So they go there, and what do they see? They see an American flag. That's what they see. No Vietnamese flags, no Vietnamese lapel pins, none of this little garbage, just the American flag, just American pride. It's crazy. It's crazy. If some of these liberals had as much American patriotic pride as the Vietnamese Americans had, maybe we'd be okay. Thank you, Vietnamese Americans. Thank you. Saudi Arabia is loosening its alcohol laws. This is actually funny. Saudi Arabia loosens alcohol rules, letting non-Muslim foreign residents earning over 50,000 riyals buy alcohol. That's about 13,000 a year. So basically, anybody that works a job, you can get one of these licenses to buy alcohol. So what I see happening here, this is kind of a larger trend, specifically with MBS, but Saudi Arabia and the Gulf nation states. They're once again trying to westernize. Now, this happened in the 80s and the 90s, and then there was the Islamic Revolution, and then there were all the proxy wars that led to all the regime change, and it all just kind of fell apart. But it seems like these countries are trying to kind of get back to the Western lifestyle. No, again, you can promote that as a good thing or a bad thing, but that's kind of seeming like where it's going. But I think the larger trend is the younger generations in these countries are sick and tired of war. They don't want war. They want peace. They want prosperity. They want to be rich. They want fast and fancy cars. They want big and luxurious hotels and condos. They want beachfront property. And they want people to come enjoy it. They want to be rich. To me, I see this as the younger generation, and I see MBS as maybe a part of it. I don't know. I'm not making any conclusive statements. But it looks like that's the trend. It's like we are just done with war. We just want peace, prosperity, tourism, wealth, beauty. We don't want war. The new generations don't want war. We may have differences of opinion and issues and foreign policy, but we're done with the wars. We're done with the killing. We're done with the extremism on all sides. So that's how I see this. But this alcohol rule is interesting because it seems dumb, right? You're like, well, why would you have a law that says you have to basically have a job to buy alcohol? But it kind of makes sense because if the goal is to keep the bums, the drunken bums off the streets, well, then this is going to do it. Now, you could figure this is going to entertain a black market for alcohol, but they'll probably crack down on that. So there you go. You can move to Saudi Arabia, and as long as you have a job, you can get drunk. Do they have drinking? I'm sure they have some drinking limits. I wouldn't advise getting drunk in Saudi Arabia. Probably not a good idea. All right, before we sign off, did you hear about this? Notre Dame opts out of the bowl games. And then last I checked, there were 10 different teams that opted out now. And it's funny because I can't help but go with my training, go with my instincts, which is the sports commentary world is so bad. And so I'm kind of beyond it. I don't really do the sports stuff anymore, but I can't help it because I see the sports commentary world and it's so bad and nobody gets it right. It's like you have John Gruden, you have Jason Whitlock, maybe my friend TJ Moe who works with Jason Whitlock. It's like outside of that, nobody in the sports world seems to get it anymore. So there's this big debate over the college bowl season and the playoffs, and it's a total disaster. And I'm looking at this because most of it just gets through my social media feed or I've got the monitors up in my house, and, sports news is up on there too. And they're all talking about, oh, what's wrong? Who should get in? And it's just like, are people retarded? People are actually retarded. This is one of the most obvious things I've ever seen in the sports world. You want to know who doesn't belong in the college football playoff? No, look no further than the betting lines here. Ole Miss, a 3-possession favorite against Tulane, and Oregon, a 3-possession favorite over James Madison. This is the dumbest crap I've ever seen. Why Tulane or James Madison would be in the college playoff? This is the dumbest thing. But I don't really care. What I find funny is that all of the people in the sports media, and nobody is sitting here pointing out the obvious, that these are the teams that don't belong. And they're like, well, what about Miami? Or what about Alabama? Or what about it? What are you talking about? It's clear who doesn't belong. And you guys are talking about Miami and Alabama while James Madison and Tulane are sitting here as 3-possession underdogs? It's crazy. So I have to talk about this because the sports world is just totally missing it. Outside of Jason Whitlock and John Gruden. Literally. It's wild. And maybe I'm a little blistered. Maybe I'm a little blistered because the Texas Longhorns got snubbed. An egregious offense. An egregious offense that the Longhorns were snubbed. The Longhorns belong. Hook 'em. So instead, they'll play Michigan in the Cheez-It Bowl, the Citrus Cheez-It Bowl. There's already players opting out, and you can't blame them. Maybe I should stare. I was so ahead of the game in the sports world. Here, let me see if I can find this before we sign off. You want to see this? If you know I came from the sports media before I switched to politics. I was so far ahead of this story, it's not even funny. Let me see if I can find this before we sign off. Let's see. There it is. This is an old website I used to run with a couple of my friends. We called it Daily Grind Sports. I would have been 22, I think. I was 22 when I wrote this. Here, let's pull down the closed music real quick. I think I was 22 when I wrote this story. This is from November 7th, 2012. Headline, NCAA Sports, When is Enough Enough? Written by me, Owen Schroyer. It's one of the best stories I ever wrote. By the way, because I used to be big into writing. I'm burnt out on it. But I break into how corrupt the NCAA is, how it steals all this money, and how eventually they're going to have to pay their athletes. There's no way around it. And now here we are. And now here we are. That's how ahead of the curve I am, folks. Whether it's sports, whether it's politics, culture, you name it. Never doubt me. I had all of that in 2012 as a 22-year-old. I think I was 22 when I wrote that. And now everything that I talked about there is now mainstream, and they've changed the entire system because of it. And I wrote that as a 22-year-old. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough of my ego getting in the way of signing off for today. So we'll take a 21-hour break. We'll do it same time, same channel tomorrow. God bless and Godspeed.